I think it's game time, baby. Let's go. Let's do it like this.
I've been a bad man, yeah, the devil's prayed to me, and I help him go and get his way. You kept your word, boy, yeah, the devil said to me, and I can't wait to meet you one day. Yeah, I can't wait to meet you one day.
Hey, 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 hey. Emotions out of focus, I'm crawling at my lowest. Feet hit the streets like a high-speed pursuit. I'm wild when I move, burning through your head, about to tighten up the noose. Bunch of clown faces blowing clouds of the roof. Woof, woof, hooters at the door, now they trying to run up in. I am not a guppy shark, stash everything. Dope in the pussy like a B of A deposit. Baby girl robotic, she gang bang abonic. Hang with the rules, or you gotta pull your weight. Toe the biggest tool, keep one in the chain. This is not a date, dance with the Mex, get your face in the cake.
Yeah, the devil's prayed to me, and I help him go and get his way. You kept your word, boy, yeah, the devil said to me, and I can't wait to meet you one day. Yeah, I can't wait to meet you one day.
Hey, 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 hey. Pennies for my thoughts, I still can't make a dollar. Check one, check two. Is everybody in? Is everybody motherfucking in? Welcome to Hoodstocks, baby. It's been a long day today. I've been in school since 7 a.m. I got out at 3:45, and we are here to do the podcast. Today's podcast is brought to you by Dentlo Tattoos, Tattoo Arts. The homie is the cover-up king. You got a bad tattoo? He can cover it up with something nice. This dude is a real magician. He's out of San Diego, California. Very talented tattoo artist. For appointments and prices, email dentloketattooart@gmail.com. dentloketattooart@gmail.com. $100 deposit, Venmo, or cash, which is king, right, baby? You know what I mean? And homie will take care of you. This dude has been fucking with the podcast for a long time. Big shout out to this dude. He is the cover up king, right? Today's podcast is also brought to you by KY Jelly. Tired of getting screwed by the cops? Make it easy on yourself with KY Jelly. Yes, sir. No ripping, no tearing, smooth sensation just might make you want to break the law more often. Depending on who you are. KY Jelly. Oh, Jesus. Today's podcast is brought to you by Modelo for Men. Yes. Modelo for Men. Going out on a fancy date? Going out on a fancy night to Jack in the Box with your new hyena that has 3 babies from 3 of your homies? Go out smelling like a G. Modelo. For men. That was a little corny, huh? Hold on. Where's it at? Wait, hold on. That ain't it. Hold on. Shut the fuck up. There it is. There it is, baby. Today, the last recall in California. Let's move forward, gentlemen. Sorry about that, guys. You know what I mean? Sometimes I think I'm funny. It's a roll of the dice. So is life, though, too, right, baby? The last recall in California was 18 years ago. Republican Arnold Schwarzenegger replaced Gray Davis. Why did they name him Gray? Was it their favorite color? I don't know. Anyways, that's besides the point. California politics are currently in limbo. Campaigning to be our next governor. Everybody, get up out your motherfucking futons, baby, and give it up for Daniel Mercuri, baby. Let's go. It's game time.
Yeah. Thank you. Love it.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. Tired. Definitely tired.
Ooh, that's me and you, dog.
Yeah.
What'd you do today? Is it okay to call maybe soon to be governor?
Thank you.
Dog. Hey, dog.
Go ahead. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let me get my motherfucking my etiquette right. I might be talking to Soon to be governor. You never know, baby.
No, be yourself, man. I'm the same way. Listen, I tell people think that, they got to be all poised. And I actually put up on my website, I tell people I'm done with political correctness. I don't give a darn about any of that stuff anymore. I tried when I ran for Congress, and I realized that wasn't me. It was never me. I thought that that's what I had to be like, snapshots and sound bites, shaking hands and kissing babies. And I realized that was just nonsense, because that's not me. And I hated all of that.
Excuse me, brother.
Yeah.
Like that. There you go.
There you go. And so I just, I realized, that was the biggest mistake I could have ever done, was not be me. And so I realized in this race, I'm up on social media as much as I can and try to designate, a day or two where I'm just focusing on, because there's, I'm already shadow banned. So if anybody that's out there, you can try to, and you're not following me, go ahead and try to type in my name, Daniel Mercuri. You won't find me. But if you go to my website and you click on my link, it'll take you straight to my page, or unless somebody sends you a link. So I got shadow banned.
Who did you get shadow banned by, bro?
Facebook.
Wow.
So if you don't call that interference in an election, right? You're interfering with a candidate who's running, who's certified, who's qualified, and now you can't actually look me up, right? Because they don't like what I'm saying, or maybe because I have a potential of winning, and so I get shadow banned. And then it went over to Instagram, and Instagram decided to also prevent me from promoting, because you have to tie the two social media sites together if you want to run ads. So now I can't run ads, at least not on Instagram. And then TikTok, I had over 3,000 followers, and then they took that down a couple weeks ago. Luckily, I got a great team that, built it back up to about almost 2,000 again. But again, it's, these are the things that go on behind the scenes. And that's because I'm not being politically correct. I'm not saying what everybody wants to hear. I'm saying all the stuff that people just don't want to hear. I don't really care anymore.
Bro, let me tell you this. We're gonna move forward into this this podcast, bro. And there's gonna be things that we don't agree on, bro. But right now, and I don't ever try to be this dude, bro. But right now, what you're saying, I like what you're saying, bro. Be yourself.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Don't fucking campaign and act like you're somebody that you're not.
Yep.
Let people know who they could potentially be voting for.
Yep.
And I respect that and I appreciate that. That's a man. That's a man, bro. You know what I mean? That's what we should do. Let's start it off like this, Daniel. This is how I want to start it off. I want to start it off like this. Daniel, why are we here? What is the message you would like to share with this community?
When you say why are we here, you mean why are we in this situation, as like what we're going through as a country, as a state, all of the above?
Well, me and you are here right now.
Yeah.
And we're here for a purpose. What is your purpose? Your purpose is to run for governor. You know what I mean? So what message, that is what I mean by why are we here?
Yeah. Oh.
So let me answer my question. What is the message that you would like to share with this very special community we have right here, bro?
Just to let everybody know, it is exactly what I came up with. Well, actually, my wife and I, I always say, behind every good man is a great woman. And it was my wife and I that came together that realized and asked really something similar, and that is to starve the government and feed the people. I'm not a proponent for government, not with what is going on right now. Government's job has always been to allow for you to engage in prosperity without overreach, right? Stopping you from engaging with your community, expanding on your own business, hiring people and growing. That is what you're supposed to do. My life has always been aimed towards trying to better my family. And the more that government has grown to the point where I can't prosper, I can't share, I can't, help someone out in need because I can barely put food on the table myself, then I realized that government overreach has gone way too far. And so I realized, the more I started digging, the more I realized we need to starve the government so that the people can be fed. That's why I'm running. It has nothing to do with creating more contracts and more government overreach and oversight. That's nonsense. And so I've had enough of it. And that's exactly why I've decided to step up. And because I got exposed to corruption firsthand. And I really was going to throw my hands up in the air and say, screw it, I've had enough of this. I fought for this country, and now the country is starting to turn on me. But I realized it's not the people, it's the people in office. And so my wife and I said, do we leave or do we stay and fight?
In California.
And I realized, well, I can stand my ground now and fight today, or I can leave and fight somewhere else. Either way, the fight's here. The fight is right at our doorstep. And this is what a lot of other people don't want to talk about. They don't want to talk about that nothing is working. Everything's falling on deaf ears. Your board of supervisors, your city, your mayor, your city council, everything is falling on deaf ears. People are screaming. Going up and down the state, I hear people crying about, their jobs, losing their families, because, they're going on the street now, or they can't get their kid in school, or they can't have, they don't have enough medical because they can't afford it now because their job let them go because of, the vaccine or the mask mandates or because of their fundamental beliefs. Like, I'm a human being, and it gets to you when you hear people talk to you and they tell you their grievances and no one's doing anything to help them. I'm a civilian just like you. I don't have any power right now. But I can do is give my shoulder and give my possibilities of what we can do as a community. But your representatives that we voted or didn't vote are the ones that aren't listening. There's a lot of reasons why, but I had enough and I said, we need to starve them. And there are a lot of methods of starving. It's not just money, right? It's their ability to have power over you. Why do they have power over us? Where did we lose sight? And that's what I've been spending. And I've been campaigning for a year now. And people didn't know that.
First and foremost, I want to tell you thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
You're a Navy vet, is that
yes.
correct?
Yeah, Navy veteran.
Thank you, brother, for your service very much. When we talk about starving the government, how would you define that, bro? And I know you did a little bit, bro, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? What would we starve the government for and get in return?
Well, one of the things that we need to do is remove their ability to have control over us, right? That starves them from having power over the people. The people are supposed to have control over their representatives. That's the way, right? And it's written down, right? It's written in our Constitution. It's written in our state constitution. The people have the right to instruct. That's a key word. It's written in our state constitution to instruct our representatives. Why aren't they listening? And the problem is that they've engaged in all of these contractual agreements behind closed doors with corporations, businesses, people that can really line their pockets. And people think, oh, no, that's not true. No, it's definitely true, especially when I got a good taste of it when I ran for Congress. That money is great. It's tremendous. And a lot of people who get into this, like me, I'm not rich. I make an average living like everybody else, and I'm okay with that. I'm as common as they come. I don't seek, to be a millionaire. I just want my nice little home to be able to raise my family and be left alone in peace and quiet. That's it, right? I don't need much. But these people, they engage in these contracts, and these contracts are causing all of us to have to pay out what they make an agreement to, right? So any guarantee that the state or the city signs an agreement, it's guaranteed. Well, who guarantees it? You, the people, through your taxes, right? That's how they get those money. That's how these corporations and these, inner cities and state and federal, a guaranteed contract with whoever they make it with gets paid out by us through a new proposition. All of a sudden, we have to pay more money. And the way to starve them of this is to remove that from them. And so how do we do this? Well, there are dozens of ways. And one of the things that I look at is, for instance, you got sheriffs, right? We got LA County sheriffs, right? We got Ventura sheriffs. Sheriffs get their money from the board of supervisors or your city council members, right? So your representatives control the purse. They're the ones that control the money. Well, through proposition, that money can be transferred over to our executors like our sheriffs. Let them control their own money. Because what happens is the sheriffs are voted in by the people. That's why we had sheriffs that came out and they basically told everybody, they told the governor, yeah, we're not going to enforce your draconian mandates because they're unconstitutional. Good for them. That means that they were in support of the people. They were looking out for the people. But the board of supervisors will threaten them by saying, well, we're not going to give you enough funding, so you're not going to have enough people on the street to protect your communities. Right? This is what goes on behind closed doors. So they have to fight them because they don't control their own wallet. Well, as a proposition, there's nothing to say that we can't, as a people, vote on that and say, no, we're going to give it to the sheriff's department and let the sheriffs control their own purse. Then if the sheriffs want a pay raise, the people say yes or no. Oh, you're not doing a good job, Mr. Sheriff. You want a pay raise? You need to prove to us that you're
The community, inner city.
Yes, and it can be done that way. But do you really think that they're gonna, this is why I'm saying, this is why people are telling me to shut up, because it puts you back into control. It starves them of their ability to swindle money and then use it however they want, and then they stonewall your local law enforcement. So these are simple things that can be done. Why aren't anybody doing it? This is why, because they don't. It puts you back into control. It takes the power out of your board of supervisors or your city mayor and council members, right? It puts it in the sheriff's hands. And since you vote in the sheriff wants you to be back in. You don't have to vote him back in. You say, no, you've abused your power. You're done. You're out. Oh, you want a pay raise? We're not going to give it to you this year because you've been abusive in your protecting our community. We're going to remove all that.
So if the people had the power, the way that would work would be obviously maybe a ballot put out, voting, you know what I mean, some type of census or something like that people would, vote on if they, would get a raise, so on and so forth.
Yeah, fiscal policy every year, the people always agree. Even through your community right now, it still happens. They have to agree. If they want more money, your local communities have to request it, right? They have to request it of their people. We don't participate that much, which now we really should, because look what they're doing. They're shutting you down. They're locking up our businesses. They're telling you to wear your mask, and now they're forcing mandates. And now we're hearing CNN talk about what? You can't go get grocery food now if you don't have your vaccine. Well, now you're preventing me from feeding my kids. Now you're preventing me from supporting my family. All right. These are the things that I know it can sound complicated, but it's really not. It's really simple. I mean, that's because you got a bunch of corrupt bureaucrats that don't give a crap about you.
So I want to tell you one thing before we move forward into this podcast. I am neither Republican or Democrat. I am me. I stand as an individual. We talked on the phone. I am not well versed in politics. I see it and I'll tell you how I feel it, right? Because if you see something, you feel something. Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can be compulsive and possibly not well thought out at times when you react to certain situations. But that's me as just a human being, and I am flawed, and I don't have all the answers. I don't have all the answers. I'm not, maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe it's above my pay grade, but I know what I feel, and there's East LA, baby. But I just wanted to let you know that I stand on neither side of the fence, and that's just from my background, where I'm from. But I have a list of questions that I want to take you down, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just want to pick your brain,
Yeah.
see, kind of where you at, how you feel about things. Yeah. I want to talk about situations that affect this community right here, and just answer them as.
I'll be honest, and I'll tell everybody right now. I'll tell your audience too. I don't have the answers to everything because I'm human. I don't pretend to be what I'm not. And if you're expecting something else, you're not gonna get it. I'm gonna tell you the way it is, and if I don't know, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, exactly, and I like that, dog. So, starting off, how do you feel about system-impacted people?
Well, when you talk about system, that also borders on when we talk about systemic racism. But you said the key word system that impact people. You're right. The system is government. So when we talk about system, you're talking about the government. And when it impacts people, we have to make sure that the impact, when it affects people, it's always positive. It always grants them more than what they really have asked for, right? So system impact, the way I'm understanding it, is we need to avoid anything that's negative. So if people can't get their education, if people are being oppressed by local tyranny, right? If people can't actually engage in prosperity because there's too much red tape because they can't even open up a business, that's negative. And the purpose of any system, at least when it comes to government, is supposed to provide more civil liberties, not less. It's not supposed to infringe upon you, it's supposed to grant, right? And instead we have engaged in oppressing everybody to meet the needs of the government, which is your representatives. Well, it's not supposed to be that way. In fact, they should be making less and we should be prospering, right? Those systems are impacting everybody negatively. Education, your taxes, right? That's all supposed to be minimized so that a real free society doesn't have anything impinged upon by the government. That's what that's supposed to be. So people should be positively impacted, not negatively.
Okay. Let me rephrase the question.
Yeah.
How do you feel about prison system impacted people?
I think the reason why a lot of the system, when we talk about the prisons, and
Because this is California, right?
Oh yeah, no, I hear you.
Whew.
I know. Well, it's funny too. Not to digress, but people say, you don't know much about, crime, and I say, well, half my family, are criminals. the other half are law enforcement. I'm right in the middle.
Yeah.
So.
And love and respect to both sides of your family.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when we talk about, say, criminal justice reform, when we look at the people that are in our prisons, I've actually taken a tour of our local jails and our county prisons and our county systems. I'll tell you right now, it starts with the judges. We have to start with our judges. You want to fix that? You want to fix the people that are being impacted heavily? All crime, from what people don't understand, is what's that old saying? All crime is commercial, meaning it's profit.
Yeah.
So there's a criteria that's laid out. Our judges know this. Your lawyers know this. This is why when you go into court, you have to have a lawyer who is there to represent you. Well, represent meaning represent you. Why are they representing you? Because we're under business law. So when we talk about our jails, you have to start with the judges, because the judges here in the state of California, we have over, I think it's 1,500 judges. Well, out of 1,500 judges, only one judge has been recalled in 80 years. So you mean to tell me that every single one of them were saints? You mean they didn't engage in any scrupulous activities? You mean they were all perfect? No, that's a load of garbage. In fact, that's why it's tied into all crime is commercial. There's a profit to be made.
Absolutely. It's a big business, baby.
So my idea as running as governor is to start investigating our judges. It's time to start removing the judges. People didn't realize that if you want to fix criminal justice reform, you have to start up at the top. I always say there are no bad teams. There are only bad leaders. And when you look at our judges, you can easily tell that they've engaged in criminal misconduct, right? They've abused of authority. It's obvious. We have here in the state of California, under our state constitution, it's called a Judicial Reform Committee. The governor can change out of 10 positions 4 of them to begin investigations on them. It's irrelevant of who they are. It's the fact that we need to put them on notice, and nobody has. Well, let's start putting them on notice. Let's start letting them know. And then here's the thing. People say, well, how do you get them out? Well, you can impeach them. Well, but that takes the legislative branch. Well, that's not going to happen because we got a bunch of reprobates in office that don't give a crap about you, and they're tying it with the judges. Okay, so that's not going to go that way. The investigation can still commit on its own, but it's going to go to Superior Court. Well, that's not going to happen either. All the judges, protect each other, so no one's going to get unbenched. So then it's a recall, and the judges are the easiest to recall because everybody does a down ballot voting, meaning they vote for who they want, and then they look down at the other names. They don't really pay attention to the other names. They just look at whether they're independent, Democrat, or Republican, and they just down ballot and just choose a name because, oh, they're blue, oh, they're red, oh, they're green party, red party, blue party, purple party. All that party crap is just a faction to keep you separated, which is why I like what you said. You're neither. Listen, I might have to register because of the way the policy is, but I'm a conservative, and first and foremost is because I'm God-fearing and I'm an American. I can give a crap about what party you are. I really don't. When I served in the military, I didn't give a damn about, when I was flying on a mission, I look over my friend and I didn't say, hey, bro, are you a Republican? Are you a Democrat?
Yeah.
I want to make sure, man. I just want to make sure we're on the same
I want to make
page.
sure who I might die with.
Right?
Yeah.
Just let me know now. Right? No one cared. No one gave a crap about that stuff. And that's how I am right now. Right? And so I tell people, listen, your judges are Republican or Democrat, but at the end of the day, it's what they're doing. And that is they're engaging in profiteering. And I don't stand for that. It's time to remove them and get them in line. And this is one of the key ways, which is through recall. That puts the power back into the people's hands. And through that investigation, since I can change out 4 bodies, that's more than enough for me to start investigations across the state. I'm not here to engage in new policies. Policies aren't going to matter. And anybody who's watching or listening to this, I'll tell you right now, we all sit here and we go, let's go to the debate. Let's listen to the debates that are happening with some of the other candidates. Those debates, even I've held my own, are pointless in a lot of respect because we have a trifecta blue state. You think they're going to give a crap about the new governor? No. Because they're a super majority, they don't really care. And because they know they have tie-in with the judges, it's all going to keep, going in the stance of profiteering. It really has nothing to do with anything else. It's always about the money. It's always about control and power.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree with you on that. How do you feel about rehabilitated people?
Well, that's kind of a loaded question. Which kind?
Ex-convicts. Convicts.
I mean, everybody has the right to change. Everybody can change. The one group that I don't believe can change are pedophiles.
Yeah,
In my personal opinion, I don't really care who you are. If you're a pedophile, you are a danger to society.
What should we do with these pedophiles?
They need to be, well, first and foremost, what we're not doing.
We should put them on an island, right?
I wouldn't disagree.
A sinking
with that.
island.
Yeah, I hear you. We don't actually, what we need to do when it comes to the pedophiles, and especially in our government, let me let everybody know right now, we have pedophiles in our government. And I've already stated this on a short 30-second ad with Spectrum, that I'm going to aim to go after everybody that is in our legislative branch that is engaged in creating bills, laws that protect the pedophile, protect the predator, and not our child and not the victims. They are the ones that I'm going to go after. I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to negotiate with them. So when it comes to people in that respect, there is no actual cure for them. They are to remain locked up.
Who was the dude that killed himself in a prison cell?
Oh, you're talking about Jeffrey Epstein.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein, friends of Donald Trump and a lot of famous people.
A lot of famous people. A lot of famous people are very familiar with him. Who went on his island? That's who I care about. I want to know who the hell went on that island. Well, there's already a manifest, right? We've got, Clinton, we got Bill Gates, right? There's a manifest that have actually flown onto his island. If you flew onto his island, I come across a lot of people and they're like, oh, you must be friends with them. No, just because I came across with them, that doesn't mean I'm their friend. It just means that they're part of an arena of group of people that we might all kind of know each other. Did you go on that island? Because there's no other reason for you to go on that island except to engage in pedophilia.
I mean, Donald Trump knew, he made a statement. He said, hey, this guy loves young women. So Donald Trump was familiar with Jeffrey Epstein.
If he did, then my support then would be completely against that. No, right? And a lot of people have asked me right now, who did I vote for? Well, I voted for Trump because at the end of the day, all I had was, and I'll be honest with everybody right now. Listen, I did not believe that Hillary Clinton or Trump at the time were the creme de la creme of what America had to offer, the best of what America had to offer. But that's what we were left. So
neither do I.
So I went with Trump. I looked at Hillary Clinton and I saw all of, she had I think it was 21, 22 FBI gate investigations underneath her belt, and Trump didn't have any of that, right?
What did Biden have?
Oh man, half of what Hillary Clinton had was on his list, not to mention the things that he did under Obama administration. So I did not vote for that man. Yeah. But at the same time, too, people say, well, then you're a Trump lover. No, I don't agree. I didn't agree with everything that Trump has done. Most of his policies I saw eye to eye on, but I didn't agree with everything, right? So then if there's more information that says, yeah, he was part of that and he's allowed it for that island, then he should be locked up himself. Again, it has to do with the fact that if you are sitting here trying to defend pedophilia and you're going to sit here and tell me that you're in office and we should make excuses, no, I don't excuse that. And so I tell everybody this is where I stand. So when you ask me about, let's get first and foremost, what I feel about people in rehabilitation, everybody has the ability to be rehabilitated. Pedophilia, no, you don't.
Yeah. Ain't no coming back from that.
There's no coming back from that.
Absolutely not.
If you're somebody who gets into office, whether you're the president, like President Trump, or any other representative, you need to be locked up too. And you need to be further investigated. It needs to be publicized. And then you need to be judged by a jury of your peers. And then that key needs to be thrown away as well. There's no coming back from that. I don't care what you've done. You do not harm the hair on the heads of our little ones.
This isn't a part of my question, but since we're kind of talking about this, did Trump have anything to do with these individuals storming the Congress building?
No. In fact, I broke this down in one of my own personal radio shows. Let me just let everybody know, as a veteran, you know, and my, you know, the people that I serve with, and my campaign manager, you know, he's a former Marine. I'll tell you right now, that is not an insurrection. An insurrection is violent. It's bloody, right? That,
I mean, what do you mean? People got killed, bro.
I know of Ashley Babbitt, and I was out there and speaking on at her memorial up in Sacramento about a month ago. Let me just tell you this. There was nothing but people with hand in hand, you know, holding hands, taking pictures, holding their signs up. The doors were open. Let me just say this. A real insurrection is bloody. It's a bloodbath.
But it doesn't matter what level you put it on, bro. There was blood spilt. So blood spilt is a bloodbath.
You're right. Blood was spilled by the security guards who shot Ashley Babbitt.
Who were doing their job.
So when you're talking about, when we talk about the insurrection, let me tell you this first and foremost. From a military perspective, no, it was not. The gates were open. I've got plenty of videos of my own. You can verify that through my own site. You can go on my own YouTube channel and you can see how I break it down.
Plug your YouTube channel.
Yeah. So, and you can see where, go into Daniel for governor, or just type in Daniel Mercuri on YouTube. And there's a few clips that I put on there. And you'll see how security guards, the mayor of DC, stood down her police officers. And you see videos, I have them, where you see them waving people in to come into, which was funneled into one entrance. You also see on the CCTV cameras, people coming in, taking pictures. An insurrection, you don't stop and take pictures. You're there to attack. You're there to rip that whole building down. You're here to burn down the Capitol. You don't let people in freely. They have the security guards.
These dudes were probably Trump supporters, right?
The security?
Yeah.
That I don't know. Not according to the mayor. The mayor distinctively, with an article, actually said that she told everybody to stand down. Her own local.
But at the end of the day, as individuals, it doesn't matter what the mayor says. There's individuals that stand on either or side of the fence, and regardless of what is told for them to do, instructed for them to do, they are going to do what they feel they should do as an individual, as a you know.
That part I couldn't answer. I really couldn't.
And I'm not asking you to answer,
Yeah.
bro. I'm not asking you. We having a conversation, bro.
Yeah, no, it's definitely possible. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit there and say no, because I mean, everybody who's in law enforcement have a right to vote, right? They have their constitutional freedoms. You're absolutely right about that. So in that respect, yeah, that could have definitely happened.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Can we move on?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Gavin Newsom believes if an individual has served 25 years and has documented rehabilitation, then he or she deserves to come home. How do you feel about that?
Specific to what? 25 years?
25 years in prison.
Oh, and
if an individual has served 25 years in prison, Gavin Newsom believes if the individual has documentation of rehabilitation while serving the time, he believes they have a chance to come home. How do you feel about that?
I think that's going to come down to circumstances, right? If you're Richard Ramirez, I don't know if you remember who Richard Ramirez was.
I'm 44 years old, baby.
So
Come on.
I just turned 45 yesterday, so good. We're the
Happy
same
birthday,
generation.
brother.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate
Yes, sir.
So
I know, baby. I got the silky skin, dog. You thought I was like 28.
Like he washes his face with Dawn dish soap.
I did today, dog.
So some of in that respect, you remember Richard Ramirez,
The Night Stalker, baby.
the Night Stalker, right?
He was coming through windows,
Yep.
acting a fool, doing shit that it had everybody on motherfucking notice that, hey, lock them windows, lock them doors, and if you ain't locking your shit, have that strap beside the bed, baby. Right?
Right? And I remember that too. And I think he got caught in Orange County, which is where I live, which was in, I think, Santa Ana, where it was a young boy that saw him, recognized him, and the neighborhood came out and beat him up with shovels and 2x4s and, you know, kicked the crap out of him.
They should have killed that fool.
was-
And I don't promote violence, but damn.
Right?
Sorry.
No. So in that respect, no.
Sorry, but not sorry.
Yeah. So when I say circumstantial with that, in that respect, no, you're never going to get out. Ever.
Okay.
So no. So I don't agree with what he says in that respect.
In that circumstance.
Right.
But there's other circumstances that.
This is why we have a probational board, because we understand circumstances. So when we understand that there's a probational board to review what you've done, how you've been, how you've, what you've done to try to change your ways or whatever, there's always a review panel. There's also the ability for the families or the victims' families to come speak on the behalf if they feel that this person, which has happened. I've witnessed people who, there was a gang violence and, young, 19-year-old went gangbanging and shot somebody, and the neighborhood kid got caught in the crossfire. And I've seen families come in and say, I forgive this person. They've served so many years. I believe that, they deserve a second chance. And they've let that person go.
You're 45 years old. You just had a birthday. Like I said, happy birthday, brother. When you were 19 years old, dog. When you were 19 years old, now you're 45 years old, grown.
Yeah.
Man, dog. You know what I mean? Like, the difference, right?
Oh, yeah.
The brain capacity, the knowledge, the development, right?
Yeah, you're not the same.
You're not the same. Okay, I'll leave it at that. Do you know the recidivism?
Wait, say that again?
I always fuck this word up, bro. The recidivism? You know what I'm saying, fucker. I mean, I'm sorry, Mr. Maybe Governor. We gonna have fun here.
There you go.
You told me, we had a phone call, you said, Luck, be yourself, baby.
Be yourself.
Be yourself, dog.
Yeah.
Do you know, let me not use that word, dog. Do you know the percentage of lifers that get out of prison and they go back?
I don't know the exact number, and here's why.
Can I tell you the percentage?
Yeah, but before you say that, let me just say this. I do know that the numbers are purposely altered. So I know that some of the numbers I'm looking at aren't the actual numbers.
Okay.
And I've been trying to figure
I'm not gonna disagree with that because I feel all numbers are manipulated some way or another in all levels of life. You know what I mean? But the documented percentage is 0.5% go back, and most of them documented. What's documented again is for parole violations. They're not being convicted of new crimes.
Right.
Basically parole violations. Have you heard about the closing of Men's Central County Jail?
No, I haven't
With
heard
LA
of that.
County Jail.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
haven't heard that.
So, have you ever walked the streets of downtown LA?
Yes, I have, many times.
What do you see?
Most of the time, I see a lot of homeless. I see a lot of battered and drug addicts. I see a lot of people down on their luck. I see crime. I've been,
Yeah, all that, bro. So let me tell you this about myself, dog. I'm working on something called the Regional Connector. And what it is, it's the new subway station that's being built underneath downtown LA. The Regional Connector is connecting one subway to another, and it's extending it underground. And so I work in downtown LA every single freaking day. And I see homeless people taking shits on sidewalks. We get in an elevator on Figueroa and 7th Street to go down to the Metro to work underground. And it is basically a porta potty, bro. Every time we go in there, we got to hold our fucking breath, bro. You know what I mean? When I'm driving around downtown LA and these work trucks that we drive in, there's homeless people out their fucking mind. The mental illness is ridiculous. The drugs is ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's on another level. I have seen so much shit working this job, which I've seen it through all my entire life, bro. But now, as me, as a tax-paying citizen, a father, a dude that walks the fine line of the law, and now I'm seeing it in a different lens, bro. It blows my fucking mind, bro, on how much, it's drug addiction. There's crime involved in drug addiction and mental illness, bro. Yep. And so what Gavin Newsom has done is Gavin Newsom has said, fuck that, we're gonna close Men's Central, LA County, the old county jail down. Why? Because we need to find a way to stop locking all these people up. This is taxpayers' money that's being spent on this. And instead of locking them up, and so right before Gavin Newsom was gonna do this, they Congress, right? Congress, I don't know.
Our state legislatures.
State legislators wanted to build another county jail. But Gavin Newsom came in and said, no, we're going to close this down, and instead we're going to have rehabilitation centers because we're housing all these people
Yep.
in this county jail for basically mental illness, bro.
Well, let me expand on that. So basically what he's doing though is he's robbing Peter to pay Paul, and this is what I mean by that. Whenever there's a crisis in a city, a lot of people don't understand is that when a city has a crisis, the homeless crisis,
Yeah.
they're permitted to request more federal funding, right? So by the federal government. Where does the federal government and the state government get their money from?
Taxpayers, yeah.
Thank you. So basically what's happening is everybody is having to front the bill when there's a crisis. But when we walk outside and I go down and I walk down Skid Row and I see the homeless and I talk to them and I'm hearing what they're saying, nothing's being done, right? It's ever changing, ever same. Yet, so all the federal funding, that money that's coming in, there's no actual oversight committee. It's like the fox watching the hen house, right? There's no real public oversight as to where the funding is going. Because if we're getting $1.5 billion, why isn't that attributing towards the homeless? Here's the reason why. There's no profit in it. And so what's happening is they're permitting, the perpetuating of people who have drug addictions, people who just want to get off the street and commit a crime because they know that if they go to jail, they're going to get food, they're going to get blanket, they're going to get their medical needs met. I don't blame them for that. I've met plenty of them that purposely go out to commit a crime. They're okay with that because they know the system well enough to know that they'll be out, in a few days, in a few weeks, but they'll get their needs met, at least for the immediacy, right? What Gavin Newsom is not doing, though, is he's not actually fining our counties that are requesting this money. So we have San Francisco, San Diego, and Los Angeles that are the highest, that are holding the majority of our homeless, and that's because that's where the money is going in. So they kind of get centralized, so that the more problems they have, the more money they can get. They take that money and they put it towards pet projects, but the homeless never get off the street. The mental instability never get their needs met. The veterans are still out there, looking for a home. And then the people who, maybe committed a crime because they were down on their luck or because they just can't take it anymore. If they've had enough of, the garbage that's going on, they've lost their edge. Who doesn't understand it? I understand that, right? I grew up poor. I grew up in an abusive home. And so it made me look at the heart of the matter of what's happening. That's what's happening. So as a governor, I would be able to permit and cease federal funding. And what that does is it forces the hands of your representatives at the local level to reach out to the nonprofit organizations that already have federal funding, but they're being blocked, which a lot of people don't know. A lot of our federal people that are out there that are already helping out mental instability, they're not permitted to come into the cities, or they're not really, they have to go through red tape to just help out people who get out of jail. But then they don't know where to go because there's nobody helping them out because there's not enough facilities. So then we shut it down. Good, right? Some people are in jail for, like I said, this is why we got to start with the judges, it's a profit. But at the same time, where are they going to go afterwards? No one's really helping them. So again, they perpetuate the problem, and so it adds more bodies to the street. And then it adds more for people defecating, committing crimes, doing what they got to do just to go back.
So you're saying the judges are too hard, they're too heavy-handed on these sentences?
Well, because the state legislatures set up what the criteria are. Then,
Yeah.
then the judicial branch comes in and says, okay, so if somebody engages in this kind of scrupulous activity, they did this crime, here's the max punishment, here's the minimum punishment, right? And that's listed. So then what happens is rather than actually, creating, treating the disease, right? We're just treating the surface, right? Again, because it keeps money coming in. It keeps that perpetuating process going on so that they can keep claiming what they want. That's why our communities can easily be taken care of literally overnight. Some of the people who were maybe, just happen to be at the wrong place at the wrong time and serve time what they really shouldn't be serving as long. But then so much times they don't know what to do when they get out. They have no helping hand. They've got no one there to support them. And there's no real organization that's going to help them, kind of get back up on their feet. There are organizations there, but there's a lot of stonewalling. Why aren't we removing it? Because there's no profit. See, in the state constitution, we have, I think it's like the last constitutional bill, the 34th article, that talks about low income housing for people who are making money, they're poor, but we can provide low income housing for them. But we don't standardize homeless, meaning how do we standardize to how to take care of the homeless, the mental instability, the people who are down on their luck? You can standardize that. Or when people get out of jail, what do we do because they fall into that criteria? If you standardize it, there's no profit to be made. So why aren't we standardizing it? Because they won't get their money. That's why. And so you as the taxpayers who still maintain to fight through every day, work hard, live honestly, they take advantage of that. That's how I know that there's other ways to take care of this, but nobody's going this route.
So what would be your approach with the homeless?
Well, that would first and foremost is to stop federal funding, right? Put a moratorium on it, meaning stop it. You're not going to request it anymore. So now you have to actually then seek out and remove the red tape so that our nonprofit organizations that are already here, there's like 612 in California alone. They already have a pool of money, but what they don't have are facilities. So then tie them legally to our real estate property investors, where there are more vacant homes and buildings than there are homeless. Well, since these profit organizations already have a pool of money that they get from people, good-hearted people who donate to them, they can already go in, maintain the facility, pay the land, the rent to the property owner, and get the homeless off the street. And then a lot of these organizations specialize, some specialize in mental instability, others specialize in abuse, some specialize in veterans, others specialize in families. There's already plenty of them that are already there. They just have too much red tape in their way.
They're not utilizing these resources.
Because there's no profit for them. If they utilize them, then your city communities or your city council members or your board of supervisors, they don't get the money that they want for other projects that you don't know about.
Okay. Get a drink of that, baby.
Thank you. I might want another one.
Yeah, get them another one, bro. Get them another one. City CR had a $15.8 billion budget for 2019-2020 fiscal year. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of money, dog.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Is the COVID-19 recall for Gavin Newsom a smokescreen hiding the real agenda?
Well, do you want to go down a rabbit hole?
Rabbit holes, baby. Let's go.
The recall was never meant to succeed. Yes, I do know that. Yes, people can take that for what it's worth.
It's because they kicked Elder out?
No, Elder had nothing to do with it. The recall started way before.
No, but I mean, I know that's another topic. My bad on that. Go ahead, speak your shit. Talk your stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, the recall was never really meant to succeed. It was only designed just to raise enough money. A lot of recalls sometimes do adhere to just trying to raise money. And then what happens is so I'm campaigning, right? I'm not running off of people's money. In other words, I'm not seeking out, corporatists. I'm not seeking out, super PACs or PACs or anybody that, are tied to these people. And I can get into that why later. But whenever you run a campaign, right, the recall is a campaign. It's just a counter campaign. You still have to open up a bank account. You have to have an EIN. So, and then you have to be able to, keep track of stuff. One of the rules is that when a campaign is over with, you have to take that money and you can either do a number of things. There's a number of things you can do with it. You can give it to your favorite nonprofit organization. You can give it to your party, right? But you can cycle that, but most people tend to give it to a nonprofit, right? Or, their favorite, organization. That money can be cycled through and then basically somewhat laundered, right? So when you look at how things are actually happening, really, it wouldn't have been 2.1 million that would have signed the recall. It would have been 10 million, right? It wasn't supposed to succeed, but because Gavin got caught with his pants down at the French Laundry, it took off because he locked us all down, right? Under his executive order, I think it was N6720. Well, when he did that, he got caught. Now they have to play their part. And it wasn't supposed to get to that level. And so the people who had it, I personally know, they're lying to you. I didn't give a crap if somebody sees this and says, well, this is what Daniel said. Please take it, give it to them, share it to them, right? Everybody is telling me these things. Vet it for yourself. Because some of these people who headed the recall, I'll name him, Orrin Heatley. He's the one who headed this, right? Is this his ordeal? I stood right in front of him. I got a photo of me sitting there in front of him at the YOLO dinner. And he told everybody there that he supported the mail-in ballot recall, right? Or the mail-in ballot voting, AB 860. Most people agree that the mail-in ballot contributed to what some of us consider was a stolen election. Others don't. That's fine. Whether you look at it that way or not, those of us who did agree with that, And since he's on the conservative Republican side, he basically told everybody, I'm a wolves in sheep clothing. I supported what you all consider to be the contributing factor to a stolen election. So then why are you doing the recall? You see what I'm saying? It's because it was never meant to. And then, of course, I know a lot of grassroots that were working with this individual that he doesn't know about, that I know that he purposely tried to stop the amount of numbers that were coming in, right? Basically, he was trying to sabotage. Why would you do that? Well, this is the stuff that goes on behind closed doors that a lot of people out there don't know. Again, I didn't give a crap about these guys. In my personal opinion, they're dogs, they're sick, they're wolves in sheep clothing. I don't give a crap. You take my information for what it's worth and go vet it yourself. But they stood up there and told everybody, well, I supported that. All right, well, then you're a scumbag like everybody else. You're just in it for the money. But now that it took off, you got to play the part, and you've got to keep going in. And now we've got maybe roughly 5, 6 names that are being pushed out by the media. Well, they're tied to the media. Well, you've got 43 other candidates. Why are you only focusing on 5? That does a disservice to everybody in the entire California state. So what's the problem here? It's because they don't want grassroots. Grassroots screwed up the recall. Grassroots is what got in the way. They didn't want 10 million people. They wanted just enough for it to fail. Well, it succeeded. And now that it's succeeded, they've got 43 other candidates that they got to worry about. So they're going to X them out. They're tied to the media. The media only pumps out 5, 6 names, maybe. And then everybody else goes, well, I've never heard of you. Because nobody remembers, oh, wait, I can go on the secretaryofstate.gov website and just type up who's running for office. There you go. That easy. That's how simple it is. The media doesn't tell you that because they know that you're waiting for them to tell you, who to vote for. You're letting them tell you what to think, not how to think.
Yeah, the media's no joke, baby.
Right?
Yeah.
This is why when you ask me that question, this is what I look at and I say, yeah, it was never meant to succeed.
Fair enough. So this might be a little touchy subject, close to home. Do you believe police departments need not defunding, but reform?
Absolutely. 100%. I've already and it's on my website too, and I tell people, everything that I've written down comes from the area of industry. That means I actually went out and I spoke to firefighters, doctors, police officers, teachers. The information I write down on how we're going to actually reform them comes from a lot of the law enforcement that are out there. They're very well aware. Good rank and file. Don't get me wrong. The ones that are up at the top, they forgot what it meant to be, boots on the ground. The ones that are the rank and file, yeah, they're subject to try to do what little they can to do the right thing. They're under pressure just like everybody else. I have my sister and my nephew, our California Highway Patrol. Gavin Newsom, under contract, says that they cannot cut away. He cannot cut away at their pay. He did it anyway, but it was contractual. Well, how did he do that anyway? So then, not only that, he cut them by 40%.
Wow.
So now we have in one area where there's supposed to be, say, 10 California Highway Patrol, there's now 4, right? Or maybe there's one area where there's supposed to be 8 on the freeway. He will purposely call California Highway Patrol off the freeway to go and do security detail for the mansion. He's not even there. So he removes 4 California Highway Patrol, and then he has them patrolling a home that he doesn't even live in, and he's not even there. So now there's only 4 police officers, 4 California Patrol, going up and down 50 miles worth of freeway, and that's it. And people wonder why they're stressed. He's purposely stressing them. Does it require reform? Yes, absolutely. Not to mention to the fact is that a lot of them have agreed, which is what I've written down, is part of the reform is they know that they're going to the academy for 6 months. That's it. And then you give them a badge and a gun. You say, go have fun and start doing the job. And then they're on the job training. But here's the problem with that. A lot of the people who are the rank and file have already told me, no, they want more training. And some of the more training that they want is areas of industry, meaning that they go out there, they know that grandma's choking, but EMT is not going to show up for 20 minutes. So they've got to engage in being, understanding, basic CPR, first aid, and anything that the EMT has to go through. They believe that they need their people, instead of 6 months of training, need 1 year of boot camp. And
For what? CPR, bro?
No. But to actually, after a year of training, right, basic boot camp, basic training,
Yeah.
The next year, it's 2 years of training. The next year, you break that up. 2 months working with EMT directly, going out on ride-alongs with them and actually engaging and trying to help people.
That's only one. Well, that's only one
That's
side
only
of the
one.
spectrum.
Right. And then the second one is, well, another areas too is this, we've got dispatch. They're not working with dispatch because they don't actually hear people on the phone screaming because somebody broke in or somebody did something. They should know how to deal with that. Number three, they know that they deal with children. So why aren't they dealing with psychologists and therapists that deal with children who are battered and bruised or beaten or have been forced into child sex trafficking? We call them, they go get them, but we require them to understand that. So they need to be working with therapists and psychologists at the same time during the next year of their training. So it's 2 years of training, not one, and not 6 months. That's how you reform them, right? And then you keep doing other areas. They're also firefighters, right? Because sometimes they're there on the scene, but they've got to deal with the fire. And then, of course, we're asking them to be wired up when there's a shootout somewhere at a fast food joint.
So firefighting and police officers are two different things, bro. Fighting a fire and dealing with someone's life is totally different, even though they do cross paths, most definitely, bro. But we talked about a 19-year-old individual not having a developed brain, right? Not being who you are at 45, right? And so shouldn't that apply with police officers
Absolutely,
too?
yeah, because here's the thing is that, again, so now are you saying that they're training because they're too young or saying that they should be older?
I think they should be older, bro.
I agree.
I think maybe 25, bro.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%. Because, and here's the other thing too, and I always say this because I served in the military. What's interesting to me is that you can join the military, be 18 years old. I can give you an M240, an M60, a GAT-17. I can give you a 9mm. I can tell you to go out there and go kill somebody to a tyrant in another country, but you can't have alcohol. You can't have a beer. So I can kill, but you won't let me have a beer. No. So then we need to change the age. And I believe that that is exactly what we need to do, is change the age of those who can actually apply and serve. And I think that's going to eliminate a lot of process right there, a lot of issues.
I agree on that too. I agree on that, bro. You're doing well right here at Hoodstocks, baby. You're doing well. You're doing well. I'm not a know-it-all. I don't have all.
You know why? You treated me kindly. That's why.
Get him another one, baby. Stop playing fucking around, dog. Fill that man's cup up, dog. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Let me ask you a question, bro. Who is BLM?
Wow. Well, let me just tell everybody this first before I say, who is BLM, in the respect that I think you're asking. I'll say right now, I was down the other day, up north, and I actually sat down with people from the Proud Boys and BLM, and they were sitting down talking with each other. And some of the members of Proud Boys said, "Why don't you come down and eat? Why don't you come down and we invited a speaker."
Let's first, before we go forward with this,
Yeah.
let's define who is BLM and who is the Proud Boys.
Okay. When I look at BLM, this is going to be difficult to define, but it's a group of people that are, in my personal opinion, I know what's written on the website. I know about the
Fuck the
process.
website.
Yeah, I know about all that. What I'm looking at is
Because the website doesn't represent everybody from BLM.
No, it doesn't.
Just like if there was a Proud Boys website, it doesn't represent everybody from Proud Boys.
no, it doesn't. You're absolutely right.
Republicans,
100%.
Democrats, so on and so forth.
Exactly, right on. And that's why I tell people, you don't know until you talk to them. Until you talk to the people who've engaged or picked a side, right? You pick a side. You pick something that you support that you feel identifies you. Some of the people that I've talked to, especially yesterday too, that are in support of BLM or they represent BLM, are angry. So who is BLM? People who are angry, who feel that they've been oppressed by systemic racism, meaning the system, and not being permitted to be able to have what a lot of people don't understand is not equitable or equity, but equal opportunity, because it's been removed from them and they have no ability to have their grievances, to shout out, I deserve just as much as everybody else the opportunity to have, the time or the energy or the ability to pursue happiness. That's the whole point of this country, and they're pissed. Well, they have every right to be pissed. They have every right to be upset at the fact that they're being blockaded.
I mean, so you do believe in systemic racism It is real.
It is real. Absolutely, it's real.
Okay.
But do I believe that it's caused by you and me or somebody that's of a color of skin? No, I believe it's being caused. My personal opinion in my research that I've done is being caused by the system. Your political representatives need you to hate each other and are in lockstep with the media to promote that it is a particular group. It's not, in my personal opinion, and from what I've researched. Because now, if I look at history and I look at, say, Martin Luther King, when I read, where do we go from here, chaos or community, right? He distinctively defines that he had to deal with black power. Well, if I look at history, right, history repeats itself. Some people disagree with this, but I don't.
It does.
It does, right? And if you believe in Jesus, Jesus says what is, what was, will be again. There's nothing new under the sun. History repeats itself, right? Why does it repeat itself? Because we don't take the time or we bury the history. Those who are corrupt don't want you to know what they know. When I look at his readings and he says that black power during his time was a slogan without a program, and that there was an uncertainty in following, and that it was more about a predominance of trying to exchange black power with white power. He said that was not the point, and that he's all about, trying to redefine what they were fighting for, which was the same thing as that he was fighting for, but the anger was so great that they couldn't see past it. And so I look at BLM and I see the same thing. History repeats itself. They are a slogan without a program, and they're not understanding why they have such an uncertainty in followers. Because black power during Martin Luther King, those people were burning down their own communities of the people that they set out to try to protect, because they were so angry. But they had every right to be angry, but they were pointing it in the wrong direction.
And it happens. It happens,
I don't disagree.
Right? It's human beings.
Yes.
And sometimes the approach is not always correct, but until you're in those shoes, you would absolutely understand what it feels like to be in those shoes, baby.
Yep.
And it's easy for us outside to look in and to say how you should feel, how you should act, but at the end of the day, your family wasn't affected by it. Mm-hmm. Your growth wasn't stunted by it. And I always try to look at things from both sides of the fence. I'm not always right sometimes, and I'm not always wrong, but I'm just looking at it from my perspective, dog. You know what I mean, big dog? I mean, governor, future governor.
Thank you.
Long day, baby. Long day, dog. Excuse me, brother. I love that you're here, dog, and I'm really thoroughly enjoying this conversation, bro. And
Thank you.
This is awesome, bro. Now down to find the Proud Boys, bro.
So same thing. Well, originally the Proud Boys were just kind of a drinking club, which a lot of people don't know. That's really all they were. And when
A drinking club that when they got fucked up, they said, fuck everybody that's not the same skin color as us.
That's not true, and here's why I know this, because I've actually met with them. And they are comprised of blacks, Latinos, Filipinos, they're Chinese, other people, whites, different variations, Irish, Italians.
With the same agenda. And what is the agenda?
Well, from what everybody keeps talking about, and I'll tell you right now, from my perspective, and from what I have spoken to and sat down with them, and I've engaged in conversations with them, I don't avoid any group. And one of the first things they said was, we want to pray for you. I saw God-fearing. I saw people who love America.
Have you ever been in a bar with Proud Boys?
Yes, I have.
Yes.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
100%.
You were sitting on the right side of the fence then?
What do you mean by the right side of the fence?
Well, sometimes you might be sitting on the wrong side of the fence depending on the color of your skin, brother.
Well,
have you ever been in a situation like that?
Yes, I have. Yes, but here's the thing.
And what was your situation?
Oh yeah, you get beat up, you get attacked.
Why?
Yeah. Well, at that time, was because of maybe something I said or something that they just didn't like, or other groups. Now, Proud Boys, no, I've never been attacked by them. But other groups, yes. So bikers, yeah. Other gang members, just locally that I just went to a local bar back when I was growing up. Absolutely, just because I was Latino, I got.
Are you Latino?
Yeah. Yeah.
What, we didn't get into that, brother. Who made you? What is your ancestry?
So my father is full-blood Sicilian, and my mother is from Mexico City, and and so I'm a half breed, I guess you could say.
Me too, baby.
Yeah.
It's all good. And you can't win on either side.
I actually experienced, I guess you could say, racism coming from my own family, because on the Italian side, my father married outside his race, and same with my mother. She married outside her race.
Same as me.
So there was a big clash. On my mother's side, they hated my father. On my father's side, there was a little more camaraderie, but you could see that they kind of kept us a little bit at bay in a lot of respects. So I experienced that. I didn't understand it, because to me, when I was a kid, I was just a person. It didn't matter where I came from. I didn't see color. So I experienced that just within my own family. So that's my background.
Daniel.
Yes.
My father is Russian Jew. My mom is Mexican. I grew up on the Mexican side. What did my Mexican side focus on? The Russian Jew side, when they were upset, right? So I grew into thick skin, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
You know, couldn't win, never good enough. And that's basically a testament to the person that I am, brother. You know what I mean? So when you talk about what you're talking about, bro, I know all about that 1,000%, brother. Yeah. You know, and it's hard, bro, and it puts you into a place where it's just like, you know what? People ask me, I go to job sites, bro. I'm a union electrician. I go to job sites. People say, well, who are you? What are you? Yeah. And I'm like, bro, get the fuck out of here, dog. You know what I mean? I'm a fucking human being, bro. Yep. You know what I mean? You ain't got to put a label on me. You ain't got to put a color on me. Excuse me. You know what I mean? And I am me. Yeah. You know. But anyways, so it was easy for you to define the Proud Boys, but you were long-winded with BLM.
Well, let me when it comes to the Proud Boys, I said the same thing when I met them, was an understanding, and they'd actually heard me in a previous interview too, is that if you stand for something, what do you stand for? What are your words? What is your slogan? What it is that you're trying to do, and why are you trying to do it? Because don't get me wrong, the media, I always tell people, turn off the media, stop listening to them, and go out there and do your own research. Go out there and talk to the people. They're human beings too, right?
We are all human beings.
We're all human beings. So everybody's
BLM, Proud Boys, we're all human
everybody
beings.
They've chosen a side. Why have they chosen a side? Go find out. Seriously, get out there, go to one of the protests, go to a rally. I guarantee you they're all going to show up. It doesn't matter what they are, who they are. You're going to see a multitude of factions, of groups, of people screaming, whether they consider themselves to be patriots or they consider themselves to be, 3%ers, or they're BLM, Antifa, or Proud Boys, or whatever. Go talk to them. They're there. Why? Go ask them questions. They'll tell you. A lot of them will sit there and tell you what they're pissed off about.
Daniel, let me tell you this, bro. If I have a dude that's possibly going to be a future governor, and you come and interview me and ask me who I am, what I'm about, I am gonna fucking put icing on the cake, baby. You know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you all the good shit, but you don't really know, bro, until you're behind closed doors of who this individual is. Everybody's gonna paint you a beautiful canvas, bro. Yeah. You know, so I'm not saying I know everything. I'm not saying BLM is this, Proud Boys is this, but from a person like me, outside looking in, I mean,
here's what I'll do to sum it up. We look at, say, law enforcement and military, right? Are they all saints? No, they're not. Are there itchy trigger gun happy people? Yeah, you bet.
How'd you feel about the George Floyd verdict? The whole situation, bro.
I didn't have any problems with it. I saw the videos,
He fucked up. Better lack of words.
Lack of words, yeah. And listen, when someone's telling you, and I'll tell you right now, I trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. There was a ton of moves that man could have done too at the same time, where if someone's screaming, I can't breathe, then turn them over. You can still position somebody that can't breathe, especially when I train in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I know how to, still retain somebody that's twice my size. I'm not a big guy, but I grapple, 220-pound guys, and I can turn them over, and I can still hold them in position so that they're not a danger to me or anybody else until we, properly handcuff them. In fact, New York actually had their entire law enforcement adjacent themselves to the Gracie Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Academy, and their crime rate, or as far as their lawsuits, in negatively trying to subdue somebody went down by 40%.
Hey, shout out to Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan said that.
Yeah,
Joe Rogan said everybody should be.
Yep.
All these police officers should be trained in some type of martial arts.
Yeah.
So they have the confidence and
Yep.
they have the technique to
do
act. Yeah.
To do it. And I'll tell you right now, well, I know Joe. Joe and I used to grapple at Legends MMA, so it is what it is. He probably doesn't remember anything like that.
Baby.
He was a brown belt.
You stunning, doggy. Go ahead.
Huh?
You stunning.
Oh, yeah, no, he was a brown belt back when I was a white belt, and of course that was 15 years ago. Of course, I know the match now would be a little bit different, but
Yeah.
point is that he knows what he's talking about, and he's absolutely right. And I actually train with law enforcement, train police officers I know that come into the academies, that come into the dojos that I train at. They will tell you firsthand, man, they're so thankful that they have trained. There's so many other messes that you can do, but if you don't know how to fight, you don't know what your hands can do, you don't know what you can do and how to turn your 100-pound frame into a 200-pound frame, yeah, you're gonna do stupid things. You're gonna kneel down the wrong way. You're gonna put pressure on the person in the wrong direction. And unfortunately, things are gonna go the same way. You're gonna get judged by a jury of your peers, right? Could have been handled differently? You bet. I hear all the conspiracies. It's irrelevant of the conspiracies whether I agree with one side or the other. When I see and somebody's saying I can't breathe, then turn the man over so there's no more excuse and put him in a different position so he can breathe. Done. That's it. And then I see some of the other law enforcement that are out there, sadly, yes, that where you've got 10 guys on one person. You don't need that. But if you're not trained, you're going to do something wrong. Now, this is why I say we need reform versus defunding, because the first person you're going to call is the police.
Absolutely.
Done. So
Yeah.
this is a
I mean, I've never caught him one time, but I'm gonna for the average civilian.
Yes, there you go.
Yes.
Right. So so when I look at the end of the day, when we look at the what we're talking about here, there's always a better way, And I think I got sidetracked on what you were asking me.
No, I'm sorry, and that's my 1,000% my fault, bro. But let's move it forward. So, how would you unite us in this divided climate that we live in? How would you? I mean, bro, it's ridiculous, bro. The way I mean, it's always been like this. Like you said, history repeats itself, bro. There's always gonna be a divide, bro. But how would we unite everybody, bro, to just be good with each other?
Well, that's first and foremost, and I'm going to tell everybody right now, I don't really care if you don't like the fact that I believe in God. One of the first things that we have done in our nation is we have removed God out of our lives. If we don't put God back, it's not going to get any better. You cannot policy our way out of hate. That takes love. You cannot policy our way out of creating more legislation. That's going to take agape brotherhood. It is not going to get fixed if I wave a pen and try to create more legislation to cause further division. It's never going to happen. You can split all the hairs you want. At the end of the day, you have to allow people, like we have under the First Amendment, to express themselves and let them go out there and say what needs to be said and love their neighbor. If you don't love your neighbor, your policymaker, your legislator is not going to be able to do it. It's not going to happen. And because we've allowed our government to remove God out of our education, out of the ability, to praise. Even Gavin Newsom during COVID-19 said, you can go to church, but you can't sing. No, I'm not listening to that garbage, and it's nonsense. That's an attempt to remove your ability to praise the one true God. End of story.
Who is God?
Jesus. He is my Lord and Savior, period. And people say, oh, but what about, Muhammad? No. You don't have to like it. And people say separation of church and state. That's not what that means. You know what that means? It means government isn't to establish a single religion. That's all that meant. It didn't mean that your representatives can't have fundamental faith. And more so, the Constitution, even the state constitution, harmonizes more so biblically than with any other faith. So it's not a problem for me. But it's a problem for people who don't want to be held accountable, because the spirit of conviction will make you angry because you know what you're doing is wrong. And when people tell me stop talking about Jesus, stop talking about God, that's the spirit of conviction, because it holds you accountable so that you can't engage in perversion. And when there's more of us doing that, that's when you're going to see things change. But we have no leaders that are willing to do that. And I'm willing to do that.
I want to introduce you to our co-host right here. I want everybody to give it up for Casey.
But
Wait, hold on. Where's it at?
the first one. It's the first one. I have a very interesting question because now the things that you're saying and I see symbolism in here is are you a Proud Boy?
No.
That's a nice T-shirt you got on right there. Could you tell me about the Modesto Elks Club in that situation?
No, I don't know much about it.
You don't know much about it? That there was a Proud Boys rally, I believe, that was something that I guess you were supposed to speak at, or was it something like that?
Oh, they asked me to come out and talk about child sex trafficking, human trafficking, and the laws that had to do with like SB 145 and 384 and a couple of other ones and stuff like that. But I think because Antifa didn't want me to come out and speak, or they thought it was something that was in support of them. It had nothing to do with that. So it ended up turning into kind of like just a barbecue. We're asking Dano to come out and talk, and then they actually showed up, and then I actually spoke to a couple of the members, and we all ended up breaking bread together, and nobody fought, nobody argued.
How did you break bread?
They was just asked if they wanted to come and join. I didn't do the asking. It happened just before I got there, and so some of the members that basically wanted to kind of come and start up something ended up. I guess one of the Proud Boys just said, "Well, why don't you just come down and eat with us?"
So when it comes to you and the Proud Boys would probably lean on the Republican side, and BLM would lean on the Democratic side. So you would probably lean towards the Proud Boys side, correct? If there was a side to lean on.
No, because everybody, like you said, everybody has a different perspective, and not everybody is in 100% agreement. Same with the BLM. When I was talking and sitting down, there was no exact one side to the other. What I did find out was that both are very angry. Both are really, really upset about basically what's going on with the shutdowns, with the ability to not let their kids go to schools. And then, of course, businesses that they're not able to operate on. And so and I was sitting there and I was like, wow, so everybody's mad at the same thing. Why are you guys fighting each other?
So it's all basically stems down from the COVID-19 restrictions that Gavin Newsom put down on the state of California.
Well, not even just that. I mean, and yes, that was a huge, like, top tier. But one of the other things, though, was just, where we're at, like you just asked, where we're at as a society. And what I noticed was when one person stepped up and said, can we just break bread? That right there just kind of opened up. Well, that takes love. That takes
to break bread.
And it even takes love from the other person to accept it, right? As much as we can be giving, you have to be an individual who's willing to accept, right, that olive branch. Because if you have a hardened heart, it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what I attempt, or you, or anything else. If we can't, like, accept or at least make the attempt, then we're never going to get anywhere. And those who are in office are going to keep us divided. They're not making efforts like that. That took two people from opposing sides to do that.
Have you ever been oppressed? Have you ever been beat by the cops? Have you ever had your rights violated?
Yes.
Let's hear about it.
Well, it was, I got pulled over because I was wearing a beanie and my car fit the description.
You were profiled.
I was profiled. And I had every gun drawn on me. Windows were rolled down. They said I fit a description, put my hands on the wheels, and nothing else was asked. And once I did that, I was thrown out of the car, and I had guns aimed at me, right in my face, and it all came down to me being the wrong person.
So you learned not to wear a beanie.
I still wear beanies.
Not in East LA. You didn't show with a beanie on.
Well, not here, but I haven't worn a beanie for a long time. I figure it's nice. It might as well time to start showing my bald head. No, but no, I still wore them, but that was a big wake up call, and I believe I was 18 at the time.
So I've been beat down by the cops numerous times. Why? A lot of it my fault. A lot of it I take responsibility for my actions, my past actions. But I feel like the authority was a little extreme, and overboard. Extreme, overboard, same stuff. BLM, they're angry, they're upset. Proud Boys, I don't know why they're so angry and upset. And I represent neither organization. I represent me. I represent what I've been through. When the BLM marches were here in downtown LA, I was out there, bro. Why? Because they said, some homie said, hey, bro, you ain't black. What are you doing out there? Blah, blah, blah. I said, well, bro, that trickles down to us. Right. You know, it trickles down to us. But so you understand what the Proud Boys are coming from, but you understand where BLM is coming from as well, right? I mean, it's meant, bro, from the white man to the black man. I mean, the history, like you said, repeats itself. Yep. The history for the black man, it's very depressing, very discouraging what they have been through.
I'm not disagreeing. I'll never disagree with that.
You know, and so they, BLM, some of them flying off emotions that trickle down to generations of their family that suffered from slavery, so on and so forth. I would say they have a bigger gripe than the Proud Boys have. Well, why are the Proud Boys in this equation?
Well, I don't know why there's an equation to even, when we talk about this, when I say, listen, I've met members of Antifa and BLM, as well as, and not to mention too, BLM isn't just all black people. People who have joined it are also people of different ethnic groups.
Yeah, Mexican,
so why are there different?
So
same thing with the Proud Boys. There are different members. They're not white. They're, you know, you talk to the Filipinos, you talk to the blacks, you talk to people who are from Ireland. Like everybody, there's a different faction of walks of life in both groups, in all these groups. Why? Because we're in California, and everybody forgets we're a melting pot.
Yeah.
We're comprised of everything.
Yeah.
So it's where everybody is standing and what is it that they're standing on. And that's why I keep saying is that when you're talking about, you know, the blacks and the history that they've come from, let me just say this to all the viewers that are out there. The sins of the father are not the debts of the son. So when I hear things like reparations that should be paid out, well, does that mean that the person who just came here from another country that has no lineage or background and they come to California, they now have to pay for reparations for that incident that happened? That has nothing to do with them. We're in California, and the state of California is, if we're not going to move, if we can't move forward, but if you make everybody have to pay the debt of, you know, their father's sins, we're never going to get out of this, because we can go all the way back to Native Americans. Right. So again, look where we're at. Do we move forward, or do we keep trying to punish people who are here now for the sins of the past?
How do we move forward?
Well, first, like I just said, we need to move forward by, you know, not forgetting the sins of the past, but by learning from them first and foremost, which means stop taking down statues, stop throwing away our history books, and stop fighting amongst each other.
I mean, Pete Wilson, he's a Republican. His statue was taken down in San Diego. Mm-hmm. Should his statue have not been taken down?
I think whenever somebody sees a statue and you want to take it down, where I see something to be learned from, somebody's offended. Right?
Confederates, Confederate generals that were in other states outside of California, their statues were taken down because they represented slavery. So do you believe their statue should have not been taken down?
No, I don't think anything should have been taken down, even of the opposing side. Like if I look at,
but why? It's a bloodbath in history.
Exactly. You just said the key word, history. You don't learn history when you hide it. But if I go to Germany, all of Germany.
But why should we be? Excuse me, brother, for interjecting. But why should we be reminded of this? Why should people that have lineage in history, you know what I mean, be reminded of what these motherfuckers did to their family, bro?
So you don't repeat history.
I disagree with that, brother.
That's okay. And
then we talked about us disagreeing. It's going to happen, right?
No, so that's why I tell people, if I look at history and I look at Germany and I look at the fact that they didn't take down all of everything in that, you know, with where all the Jews were murdered, where they were killed, where, you know, the concentration camps, they're now museums. They're now educated. They're now learning to ensure they're never going to do that again. But when you take it down, you remove it, you hide. It's like a sign on a road that, warning, there's a dip ahead. You remove that sign, what are people going to do? They're going to hit that dip, and they're going to repeat damage. They're going to get injured. There's something stupid's going to happen. Leave it where it is, right? Let people learn from the mistakes. Let people learn from the atrocities so that you don't make the mistake again.
Do you believe in mental health?
Of course.
Okay, well, that ties in with mental health, bro. And that can really be fucking up somebody's day, bro, by seeing that statue, knowing that that statue has blood on its hands from their family, bro.
The statue doesn't know where it came from.
The statue is representing somebody that was a fucking piece of shit in history, bro.
But we don't remove the history. I would rather learn and be taught the truth.
Why don't we get those statues and put them in a museum and then teach them, but not leave them in public eye to glorify and represent this piece of shit individual?
I'll agree with you on that. To remove them entirely and completely destroy them, no. But to put them in a museum or into a landmark, because we have a lot of landmarks that are protected because that's something happened.
I mean, kids shouldn't be seeing that. Just like you don't like trans. I watched you, bro.
Yep.
You don't like transsexuals, bro. You know what I mean? So what if there was a transsexual statue? Should we leave it?
Yeah.
We should leave it?
If there's something there as a historical relevant, leave it. You're not going to offend me. I have thick skin. I'm not going to.
But not everybody's made like you.
No, and everybody needs to, because now we live in a generation of self-entitled people who thinks that they want a handout. We live in a generation where everybody has sensitive skin now, and that it infringes upon the ability of the First Amendment, which is self-expression. So if you get to go out there and express yourself, I should be able to do the same thing and learn from it. And I have every right, if you want to sit there and tell everybody the sky is falling, I have every right to go out there, put it to the test, and say, no, I think you're full of garbage, and move on. That's what we're doing, but we're placating to everybody having thin skin, and we're providing safe spaces for everybody. I don't stand for safe space. You don't have to like everything that I say, but you should at least appreciate, and I always appreciate the opposite and the opposing side of somebody. I don't have to agree with you, but you know, maybe tomorrow, like you said, 19, the way I thought 19 is not the way I think today. I may not appreciate what you're saying, or I can appreciate what you're saying right now, but maybe 5 years from now, I might actually come to the conclusion and agree with you. But that's why you leave it up.
Okay. We got our photographer. Our photographer doesn't get on this podcast very often, but obviously he has something to say. So let's go to the photographer Preston right here. What's up, big dog?
What's up? Yeah, no, I wanted to speak on that. So in Germany, yeah, you see the concentration camps, you see the monuments of the pain and suffering that they went through, but you don't see Goebbels, Hitler, you don't see all these statues, you don't see swastikas. In fact, you can get arrested for wearing swastikas. Here, when it comes to history, it's split into two. It's black history, and then there's history. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at these statues. We want to take them down. These people oppressed my ancestors. They oppressed people. They were standing for the right to own slaves, which was states' rights. So we're gonna celebrate these people. These statues are not history. These statues are monuments to celebrate. What statues have you seen where it's a mass murderer?
I've seen a lot of statues. If you go to the LA Museum, you'll see statues that have to do with...
or in Alabama or Arkansas.
Yeah, you'll see statues that, again, are...
in a museum.
In a museum where you consider them art or a landmark. So some of the areas that some of these statues at are actually in landmarks. Basically, an event took place there. So they either memorialize it or they create a statue.
Name who those people were?
Yeah, well, you just mentioned it. So when we talk about, some of the Confederacies, but some of the generals that they took down, right? Those are landmark environments, landmark places where an event took place or part of the Civil War took place, right? So again, am I in support of? Do I understand that what it's saying? Yes, I absolutely agree. That I'm not in agreement when I see particular artwork or when we have like transgender reading. I don't stand for any of this stuff, right? I get this, and I know exactly where you're coming from. But if you're going to learn from history, don't erase it, right? If you want to move it, or you want to put it somewhere else, or you want to put it into an educational area so that people can learn from it in a different way rather than what you're saying in a memorialization, I can go with that. I can agree to that. I can compromise with that. Absolutely. You destroy it, you destroy history. right? Because history repeats itself. So yes. So did Germany get rid of him? No. In their museums, they actually have paintings of Adolf Hitler. They actually do have images of the flags and the people that he stood with in their museums. So some of those areas are landmarks. They're not completely changed. No, they're not out there promoting the flag. In fact, one of the things I do agree with is the flag of the Confederacy in some of our Midwest state capitals. No, those should all be taken down. We're not a Confederate state. We're the United States.
Exactly.
So there are some things that yes, I agree. Others, no, leave it because it's on a landmark. If I get it's offending some people, put it in a museum.
So also with that,
But
right,
they're literally removing it completely.
talking about offending people, taking those statues down offends people, right? So like,
I'm not offended that you wanted to take it down. I'm offended that you wanted to remove it completely.
no. So we have history books to remind us about history. I have my aunt's stories. My aunt she's older now. She's like in her 90s. She lived in South Carolina. She used to see blacks hanging from trees. She used to see all this. So she has to see these. She used to have to see these Confederate statues. She would have to be reminded about this.
Right.
This stuff really took place, and we don't need to be reminded. We don't need to know our history by statues and memorialize these people. We need to know it in the books. So
Okay, but you're also talking when you talk about books, but the books are also changing too.
yeah, to erase
To
slavery.
erase this. This is why. So
erase slavery.
You start with one, you go to the next, right? You give a mouse a cookie, it's going to want a glass of milk. You take one,
So
you're going to take the next and the next. Where do you draw the line?
Okay, so to erase history out of the book. So what they're doing, I believe in Texas, Mississippi, Alabama, they're trying to make slavery look as though it was a choice, that they weren't treated that bad. Oh, they got fed and they were housed, but that's it. So when they're erasing the history, they're erasing black history. They're not erasing the Confederate history. So if you're trying to put two and two together, trying to say that taking these statues down and they're forgetting the history, no one's going to forget that.
No, I agree. But what I think then is the also thing too is that if we're going to have one statue up, we need to also have others that are in both, or we need to put them into the educational area so that, like a museum, so that we can be reminded of this. But again,
But why do we need to be
statues,
reminded of this shit, bro?
so again,
to compare statues, Martin Luther King next to Stonewall Will or whatever next to a Confederate soldier. So Martin Luther King has the same memorial as a Confederate soldier that was fighting to keep Martin Luther King's ancestors slaves. So they should both be celebrated. And
Preston, tell him what you are. Preston is half black
and half white.
and half white.
And this stuff is really like I hear it a lot. I hear people, oh, don't take those down, don't do this. Same with the Proud Boys situation. I've been in conflicts with Proud Boys. Yeah, when you say, yeah, there's blacks and Mexicans and stuff in it.
What kind of situations you had with Proud Boys, bro?
I was in a bar, right? And this guy didn't know I was black, start saying nigger, oh yeah, nigger this, nigger that. Proud Boy tattoo, he had a small tattoo on his arm right here. Yeah. So I mean, it's one thing to say that their idea, maybe not everybody thinks that way, but it's not forbidden in the group. Right. It's something where it's like, okay, we're not gonna represent this on our website. We're not gonna say that we're this, but we're this.
So then my question is then, you say books, right? Where do we draw the line for you? So I'm not the kind of person that's closed-minded, and I hear everything that you're saying because I've experienced it myself. I think everybody in this room, in some respect or another, has experienced a level of whatever racism, bigotry, favoritism. You call it whatever you want. We've all experienced that, and we all have different. We're multicultural, coming from a different multicultural background. I'm not offended. I don't have to like it, and I can learn from it, and it's an obvious statement. What would you do other than, okay, books, and books are being changed and are much easily taken care of? What do you do so that we don't repeat history? Right?
No,
and just to clarify, I do this on purpose because, police don't want to be defunded, and I tell them the same thing. What would you do?
Okay, so look.
And that's how I get my answers from, because you're the people.
So let me tell you this. I've learned a lot more in my life reading books and documentaries than I have looking at a statue. Mm-hmm. So as far as history, we're not taking it away. We're just not memorializing this person. So you're saying that we're taking away history. Taking down these statues is not taking away history. History happened. That's never going to be forgotten. That's never going to, just like you said, to move forward with a racial issue is not to forget it, and it's not to just act like it didn't happen. Oh, we got to move forward from here. No, that's not it. We have to address it. We have to admit that this stuff happens. We have to admit these statues are of bad people. We cannot sit here and say that, oh yeah, leave the statues up. No, they did something bad, but leave them up. Let's memorialize them. Because saying the whole book situation, that's a whole different topic. The books, if you're changing the books, it's what are we changing in the books? You keep saying the books. What they're doing in these books is talking about how slavery wasn't that bad. That's what is changing in our school books right now. Mm-hmm. It's not saying that this stuff never happened. And then what is also doing in the South is trying to say that these Confederate soldiers, oh, these guys are warriors. They did this and they fought for our rights and they were bad people. If you're fighting for a slave, like to keep slaves, it's not a good thing. So in our history books, we have to stop acting like, we have to stop saying that these soldiers in the Confederacy are people to be proud of. It's not. That's absolutely not okay to be proud of.
What you're ignoring, though, is of the time, right? You didn't, for instance, you didn't fight in certain wars, so you don't understand. You wouldn't have understood what they went through at that time because you personally didn't experience it, right?
Well, that's with everything.
Exactly. So that's with everything. So at the time that these things, were being understood, being written, being created, which is also to how our laws came into being, right? We came through trials, tribulations, we came through blood, and then we are at where we're at, and certain key people made things happen either for the good or for the bad, right? We learned from them, right? And so in some instances, yeah, there's a memorial, or there's a landmark, or there's a historical reference, right? Whatever you want to call it, the point is, and we're probably always going to have some sort of disagreement here, and that's okay, is that we're not trying, if you keep taking things down, it's going to go to the next level, and it already is happening. It's going to things are going to keep getting more and more removed, and we're only going to have one perspective and not the other perspective, right? Why did they fight on that side? Why did they believe that they were the right?
Do you know why?
No, I'm presenting these questions to you in the sense of, when you take these things down and we start removing these things, we are exactly what we already talked about, which is you're going to repeat it. We're going to repeat allowing ourselves to fall prey to, I don't want slavery, and I want to be reminded of the people who, put us into this process. Or what is it that they thought at that time that made them think that they were doing the right thing? What was the era that they lived in?
That doesn't matter.
To you, it doesn't matter.
No. I get what you're saying, bro. The era that we live in. Let's take a phone call. Let's take a phone call, dog. Take a drink, future governor. You're on Hood Stocks. Talk to us.
Big Lux.
What up, brother?
This fucking guy. One question he needs to answer is this. What fucking Republican policy has any fucking Republican politician created in the last 30 years that benefited the American people? And I'm not talking about the fucking 1% fucking rich billionaire motherfuckers. I'm talking about the average Joe. This guy's full of shit.
Hey, I like that. I like your question. When you say
You're never going to be a governor of this Democratic state, by the way. Good luck.
Thank you. I appreciate that. When you talk about Republican, well, let's get something straight. The Democrats have been in the state of California.
Answer the fucking question.
I'm answering your question.
Don't deflect it, guy.
I'm not going to deflect it. You said Republican here in our state of California. We've been a majority of blue.
No, I didn't say in California. I said Republican Party, guy. The whole Republican Party. What policy have they created that benefited the average American person? Answer that question.
I just told you. You want to keep cutting me off.
Go ahead.
Let him speak. Let the man speak, please. Go ahead, brother.
Go ahead.
How about first and foremost our taxes? Taxes are always getting dropped. When it comes to your taxes get dropped. When it comes to the Democrats, the taxes go up. If you don't believe me, you can go on my website. Go on my website and look under.
Fuck your website.
All right. Well, then, if you're
I'm talking about the taxes. We have been paying as a middle class union working man, been working since I was 19 years old and a real job before I was hustling. But for us, the American people, the average Joe, taxes, I've always paid my taxes, but I've never benefited from them.
You're right.
We're California. In California, we give more taxes to the federal government that Republican states take. We don't receive, we give more federal taxes than we receive as this blue state.
You're absolutely right. You're dead on.
I know I am.
Okay,
I
so
know
you're
I
dead
am,
on.
motherfucker.
You're dead on.
So you said taxes. Republicans have done this and that with taxes. They've been taking our tax money, but we don't receive it. We give to those Republican states who take.
Okay.
So you just made a statement that was incorrect. Taxes, we don't receive. We give, but we don't receive.
Okay. Let me answer your question.
Go for it.
Okay. Let me just tell you, first and foremost, I am on your side.
No, you're not.
No,
You're
stop. No.
Republican. You're not on my side.
No. Let me answer your question. If you don't want me to answer your question,
Go ahead.
then don't talk. Be quiet. Let me tell you right now, first and foremost, when it comes to your taxes, the one group, the group that is against you and me is both the Republican and the Democrats.
No, the Republican Party is against me, homie.
Let me finish. I'll explain.
Go ahead.
My explanation is this. The one group in the government that has the most power, that controls the purse meaning the expenditures that come from you and me, the taxpayers, is the legislative branch. If you look at my website under taxes, you personally will see that irrelevant of the president that was Republican or Democrat, the one group that controls the bills, that controls the legislation, that makes the laws that you and I have to fucking pay is the legislative branch. That is both the Republican.
Just answer my question.
Yes,
Fuck
it is.
the taxes. Answer my question.
No, I am answering your question, and the question is the fact that you want to know the Republican. The truth of the matter is they are both wings of the same fucking bird. That's what it is.
I never disagree
you're
with that.
trying
but my
to.
question
No. Your
Shut
question
up
was the
and listen, guys.
Republicans.
My
Your question was the Republican.
No policy.
No, there
has
is
the
no-
Republican Party created
Because- no.
that benefited the average American.
No,
Answer that
you're
question.
mistaken. No, I just did. I'm answering your
you
question.
didn't.
Yes, I did. You want me to separate Republican from Democrat? They're the same. Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree.
So you
completely
think that the
disagree, homie.
Democrats are different than the Republicans, and I'm telling you they're both wings of the same bird, and that they're both
That's a
screwing
good
you
Fox
over.
talking point, homeboy. That's a good Fox talking point, homie. But the reality is this. The reality is this. As an American taxpayer, I get fucked equally
You're right.
by Republicans and Democrats.
Yes. So we're on the
But
same page.
Democrats, listen, let me finish now. The Democrats created Social Security programs, fucking, every good policy we've had ever that benefited the average American people has come from Democratic presidents. Majority has come from Democratic presidents. I'm talking the last 30 years.
The last 30 years, you're wrong. The last 30 years,
Republicans have done to benefit guys like me.
You're right. The last 30 years, let's do your Democrat. The last 30 years, if you look at our national debt, has done nothing, but every president after that has gone
Look
up.
what Trump did.
No.
Look what Trump did to our national debt.
And look what the Clinton, and then and then Obama, and the previous president, and the previous president after that. See, you don't look at the numbers. When you look at the national debt since Eisenhower,
It's all about the whataboutism.
The numbers are
The
fake.
whataboutism.
Oh, no.
That's their talking point.
No, that's not their talking point.
Okay. Since you fumbled
since I want to go in that direction, So here's the thing: do you want your money back? Yes or no? Do you want to keep your money? Yes or no?
Listen,
Do you
this
want
is
your
where I want
money
my money
back?
to go.
No, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you on this nonsense. Let me just tell you this right now.
I want my money back.
Do you want to keep your money?
My money back.
Do you want to keep your money?
No, listen.
No,
Let
do
me
you
answer
want to
that.
keep your money? Yes or no?
No.
You
I don't have a problem paying my
Well, then don't vote
taxes.
for
No.
me. You don't want to keep your money?
I'm not going to vote for you. You're a fucking clown. But I don't.
Okay,
let me
I'm a
ask you this.
clown.
Let me
All
let
right,
you know
so then
this.
let's move on.
Let me let you know this.
No, my boy.
Lucky.
No, let's keep it respectful, dog. Let's keep
I'm
it
sorry,
respectful.
homie. I
He's on this
sense that. I
platform,
sense that.
and I know you. I know,
I
bro.
got you.
Don't let your emotions take
You're
control
right.
you, bro.
100%.
Be respectful
Let
to
me-
this man right here. He's on the platform, bro. Be respectful
No
to him.
doubt. No doubt, my dog, and I apologize.
It's okay.
No, listen, you
guys.
be yourself.
But I got
Listen.
a second question. I got a second question for you, dog.
Okay, second question.
Listen, since you didn't answer the question correctly,
did
you
answer the
misguided
first
it.
one,
I
but
got
okay.
another question for you.
He said
for
he
you,
would
dog.
answer questions to the best of his ability.
A best of his ability. Okay. So the last two Republican governors we've had in California, both of them were a complete failure for the California state.
Wait, say
you
that again.
already know.
Wait, they were complete. I didn't hear that. Wait, back up. I didn't hear the word. You said they were the last what?
Okay, the 2 last Republican governors we had in California were a disaster for our state.
Disaster. Okay.
Arnold Schwarzenegger killed our worker compensation policies.
Totally
Completely
agree.
Gutted them.
100%.
Completely gutted them. He got in by a recall vote, and he completely was worse than the first guy.
I agree.
What do you? The recall we're going through now?
Yes.
Is just a money grab.
I already said that.
I know. I'm repeating what you said.
Okay.
But let me finish.
Okay.
Let me finish. Recall elections are jokes. It's the only way Republicans can become governors of this democratic state is by a recall election. So recall elections up to this point, it was kind of people didn't really care. But I think this time around, people are really paying attention to what the Republicans have put us through in these last 4 years. And I don't have any doubt that you're not going to have any chance in hell to become a governor of this democratic state. If we didn't have Newsom running this state today, we would be, and we were ran by a Republican, we would be looking at Florida COVID numbers in this state, because Republicans are all about no mask, fucking open up the states, and look at what the fuck Florida is into right now. The fucking heartbeat of COVID alley. What would you do different in this state to protect us American people?
Say that again.
In this state.
Wait, say that again.
What would you do as a governor of this state in the current situation of COVID? Would you not have a mask mandate, open everything back up, get everybody sick? I have a daughter who's 11 years old who can't get vaccinated. And yet your stupid policies, Republican Party policies, would put my daughter in jeopardy because Republicans are about freedoms, but you don't have the freedom to put my health at risk, homeboy. You don't have that fucking freedom. So when I work today in customers' homes, every Republican home I go to tries to tell me to take off my mask, yet I don't know if these fools are vaccinated or not. I'm not putting my daughter in jeopardy, but they think they have the freedom to put my health in jeopardy.
They do.
That's the stupidest policies ever.
Then you don't want freedom, and you and I are always going to be at odds. That's what
we will be.
The Constitution. Let me just tell you right now.
You don't have a freedom to not wear your seatbelt, not wear shirts and shoes in businesses.
I was kind enough to let you. You said your piece, right?
Let him talk,
so
bro.
now,
Let
so
this
it's not
dude
my time.
talk.
You and I are going to always be at odds. I'm going to be your opposition. Now, here's why. Because the Constitution does not talk about health. Neither does the state constitution. Yes, the powers are left up to the enumerated powers are left up to the state under the 10th Amendment. But here's the thing, is that in order for you to have sovereignty and freedom, the people have the right to decide for themselves. Now, we didn't need vaccines. Wait, no, you had your chance.
Let him speak, bro.
Now,
Let him
vaccines
speak.
didn't come into play until 1792, which means man has been around. If you believe in science, man has been around for 6 million years, modern man for 250,000 years, and we've not needed vaccines until 1790s.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you believe in God, we've been around for 6,000 years, and we've been around through biblical plagues. Now, here's the thing. You want to talk about the vaccines. Well, you're going to sit here and talk to me about numbers that are inflated. I know this because I know for a fact that you're not going talking to the doctors, the nurses, neurologists, virologists that I have for the past year. All the numbers are inflated. And so I'm not going to sit here and put upon everybody with the way it should have happened here in the state of California to help our communities out with not shutting down. And if you want to get the vaccine, you can have medical freedom, get the vaccine. If you want a mask, wear a mask. I'm not going to stop you. But here's the thing. You don't get to impose upon other people who don't want to wear it and who don't want to take it, because it should have been handled at the local level. And here's why. And I'll explain why.
Same way
Wait.
Let him speak. Let him speak.
Here's why.
Let the man speak.
If you talk to the virologists locally, they will tell you that viruses and bacteria react differently in different atmospheric conditions. Los Angeles' temperature and atmospheric condition is not the same as Big Bear. So the needs in Big Bear should not have been a one-size-fits-all to the people in Los Angeles. That's what the governor should have done, and we wouldn't have lost our business businesses. Here's the other thing too. You say that Gavin Newsom is a great governor, but here's the problem. Under your taxes, unemployment, the EDD debacle lost $30 billion. And he just told everybody he will not perform an investigation. Why? $30 billion of your money is gone. You're not going to get that back. So when I tell you I'm on your side, disregard the fact that I'm a Republican. No, I didn't agree with everything that the Republicans do. So get that right. Number two, I don't agree with everything that Democrats do. So get that right. And when you ask me what are some of the policies that I liked, when I look under, say, President Trump as a veteran, I only know one president that signed 4 peace agreements with the Middle East, and that my brothers and sisters in the military did not have to go fight an ridiculous war that didn't amount to shit.
That was created by a Republican President Bush.
It doesn't matter. The fact that he stopped it.
It does matter,
No,
dog.
the fact that he
It does
stopped
matter,
it.
homeboy.
Then if it matters, then it matters the fact that he stopped it. And no more lives
Most
weren't
wars
wasted.
were created by Republican presidents.
Listen,
homeboy.
hold
You
on,
gotta admit it,
hold
dog.
on. My G. What's
Hey,
your
look,
name, bro?
look.
What's your name, bro?
My name is Caps, homeboy. They call
Caps,
me
I appreciate
Caps,
it too. And
I
I'm okay with
appreciate your phone
disagreements.
call, bro. You shot your shit, dog, and we're gonna end it right now.
Gracias, love.
Thank you,
Have a
my
good
G.
day, big
I
dog.
appreciate you, dog. Let's do this.
Fuck the Republicans.
Let's do it. Don't check it out. Check it out. This is what I want from you guys right now. When you call in, I want you to give this man respect in the way you guys talk to him. All right, he's on this platform, and you're not gonna agree with everything he says. You know, but we gotta have class right here. We gotta have class. We're representing ourselves, and we need to have class. That's all I'm gonna say. Next phone call. You're on Hoodstocks. Talk to us, baby. You're on Hoodstocks. What's up, my G? All right, next call.
I couldn't hear.
You're on Hoodstocks. Talk to us.
Hey, how you doing, Luck?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing, brother?
Man, I'm hanging in there, brother. Blessed like always. Hey, Daniel, nice having you on the podcast, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And before you ask anything, let me just say to the previous caller, thank you for your honesty. Thank you for, your aggressiveness. And I'm going to tell everybody right now, I'm okay. You can clearly see I'm okay with, you want to scream at me, you want to cuss at me, go for it. I'm
He
not
had you
politically
cussing,
correct.
bro. He had you cussing.
That's okay. And that's me.
And I love that.
I don't sit there and I'm not a politician, and I'm never going to be. So go ahead. Ask
You
your
know
question.
what? I'm not gonna speak on the last caller. I mean, we all get, a little winded up sometimes over passionate subjects like, politics, for instance. Where do you stand on, since here in California we have a big problem with, illegal immigrants. Where do you stand as far as helping them out? Do you want to get rid of them? I mean, I want to know directly from you, because you got to remember that here in California, you got a big Latino vote.
Yep.
Certain Republicans or Democrats, they know that. They know how to play their cards. And the reason why I'm asking this is because sincerity is, I think, something that lives in the neighborhood. We like honesty. We don't like to be, lied to, just like nobody really does. But where do you stand on that?
I'm not for illegal immigration. So what I do stand on is closing the borders, put a moratorium on the borders, not indefinitely, but for at least 2 years, because we already have an infrastructure in place, which a lot of people don't know. So the infrastructure right now can't handle the amount of people coming in. We in America already let in lawfully over 1 million people. That's more than most countries, combined several together. Mm-hmm. If we want to let people in, I'm all for, come on, bring your, sorrows, your pains, your, whatever, bring it here. But you got to do it the right way, because the problem is that it doesn't allow for the taxpayers to acclimate to the new amount of bodies that are coming in. So if you're a representative, your number one responsibility is to the people first, your taxpayers, your constituents. They are not to the illegal alien. They can never be, because if you're going to be a nation of laws, then you have to abide by it, which means you have to respect the will of the people, and you have to abide by the rule of law. So in order for that to happen, you have to put a moratorium on the border so that we can get a handle of who's already here. And then number two, that doesn't mean that we're just going to close the borders down to the southern border. That's for everybody from every nation, not just our southern borders. It is everybody, whether you're coming here from China, you're coming here from Russia or France, it does not matter. It's everybody. So that removes the argument of it being discriminatory, right?
Okay, I get it. I get it. Thank you for answering that. And I mean, I am a second generation American out here. My family is originally from Mexico. So with that being said, I agree with laws and with going about things the right way, because that's just, we got to act like adults, right? I get it. Okay, so let's just say we close the borders. Okay, what are we going to do with the illegal immigrants that we got left here that are uprising and building this country? And a lot of them, most of them, honestly, are outstanding citizens. And I will say that because that's the truth. If anything, what happens is these people come over here and they have kids here and they try to give their kids the life that they didn't have. And then the kids end up, a lot of the times, giving the family a black eye. And then in return, it makes Latinos look bad. But when it comes to like Raza that actually comes from the border to come over here and to find a better life, those dudes right there, for the most part, they're hardworking. Like I said, they kick. They kick ass when it comes to work.
No, listen. I'm half Latino,
so what do we do with them?
Yeah,
what do we do with them? The ones that are stuck here,
the ones that are already here.
Close the border.
I'm not for separating families. I've never been for that. So right now, one of the things is first you have to close that border down. That also includes our coastals. Number two is you stop the processing of the asylum seekers that are at the border, as well as people who are seeking refugee status. The ones that are already here. But you can't do anything until you lock that border down first. That gives a 2-year moratorium.
So what are we going to do with them?
So the ones that are already here,
are we going to help them get their papers?
The ones that are,
what are we going to do with them?
Yeah, so the ones that are in our prisons, they're going to get extradited under my administration.
Well, that's different.
And then the ones that are
working,
right. The ones that are working have 2 years to go and get registered, meaning they got to get their names in there and they got to go to take their civic duty classes, right? You have 2 years to get registered so that you too are now a taxpayer. You're already here. You've already been here for a number of years. You've already got kids. Clearly, your kids too are also part of the community. I'm not for separating families. You're a criminal. I don't give a crap who you are. You're going to go to. You're going to get extradited.
I get that part.
If you've committed any crimes here, aside from coming here illegally, you're going to go back. No, I will work with ICE, but ICE will only be under my administration. Will work with the criminals and remove criminals. If you've done that, you're gone. I don't care. If you've got a family, you should have thought about that. You committed a crime. If you're here, you're paying your taxes, because I do know that illegals do pay taxes. So I'm not ignorant to that. And
okay,
if you're
I was about to touch on that, but good. I'm glad you you got that. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the only way that we're going to get through this. But you can't do that right now with open borders. If your borders are open, then you're just going to keep doing and perpetuating the process. And then the people in the state of California, including the United States, can't acclimate again to adjust, the earnings, jobs, entrepreneurship, new industries. The free market can't expand because of the fact that they're being heavily saturated. You have to close the borders. And the federal government doesn't have to like it, but tough. It's the state. The state has the right to actually do this and engage in this and continue to build the wall. In fact, we already had a group that actually raised $20 million to finish the wall, but then the state of California broke them apart. And that money came from the people who all contributed up to $20 million. And that would have contributed to our Border Patrol and the continuation of the completion of the wall. Well, why didn't we allow for that? We could have. All we needed to do was get them in ties with constructions and other laborers to actually continue this. But we didn't do that because there's no money in it for it. And the reason why too is because we need our borders open, because California is #1 state for child sex trafficking, drug trafficking, human trafficking, and gun trafficking. So all these different traffickings that come in through the southern border, the Los Angeles docks, as well as the San Francisco docks. And we're purposely leaving them open. That's what Gavin's doing. This is an easy way to solve the people who are illegals to work here, be a part of our community, that are already here operating, and they're not criminals.
Hey,
got it. Okay.
Appreciate your phone call, brother.
Can I get one more in there real quick, Lucky?
Go ahead, brother.
All right. So to address the homeless issue in Los Angeles, or just in general everywhere. But obviously, it's big here in the city. So obviously, there's a lot of mental health. There's a lot of drug abuse in the streets, which I feel like those people can be helped out. Absolutely, 100%. But what are we gonna do to stop? I guess funding and giving all this money away to people that actually don't want to work, and how we're going to help out people that actually are trying to get on their feet to actually, you know, like basically pursue the happiness, like you said. So, meaning this, you have a lot of people that don't want to work, man. They have Social Securities, they were born here, and then you got Home Depot full of paisas out there that are, man, we're willing to get their hands dirty. What are we going to do with those lazy pieces of shit? Because I would like to put them motherfuckers in the island personally with all the chomos, because to me that's a big fucking issue. I personally would rather support a Latino that has no papers and is working his ass off. Why don't we give him that Social Security and fucking dump this other idiot that can't seem to get his life together? He has all the blessings in the world. I mean, for crying out loud, you have a Social Security card. You were born here. You don't own a home, but this paisa come over here and in 10 years he has a house? That makes no sense. So who's really living the American dream?
Right. No, what you're talking about, so unfortunately what Gavin Newsom did, and of course with the California Emergency Services Act, so right now we're stuck under the state of emergency. They double pronged it. So if what happens is if a city decides to remove the state of emergency, people who are small business owners that have employees, or they're having their rent paid for, will no longer qualify. And so that qualification comes from the other prong, which is people getting paychecks coming out of the state, so free money. So that's keeping people.
Yeah, we gotta stop. So we gotta stop allowing people to be lazy, man.
Right.
Because
so
a lot of people, ever since the pandemic, you know how many people just collect unemployment?
Yep. And that free money.
There's been guys in prison that actually got more charges added because they're in there collecting fucking unemployment, because America's becoming a lazy country. And we want to attack the wrong people.
Right, because the state agencies report to the governor, it's a simple cease and desist. That's it, right? There's no more state of emergency. So you put me in office, there's no more state of emergency. That money stops cold. That gets people back up off their butt and get them back out there and doing something with their lives, because it's not up to everybody else to have to pay for them. You have to get out there and you have to make your own living, make your own opportunities out there, and I agree with you. I'm tired of the laziness. I didn't pay for everybody else to benefit off of me or anybody else. So, but this is where you get the left mentality, which is, it's everybody else's fault except their own. So nobody wants to take responsibility for their own actions, and nobody else wants to, engage in entrepreneurship and get out there and do something with themselves. But nobody else should have to pay for that. So that's exactly where I stand on that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Lucky. Thank you, Daniel. I wish you the best. We might not all agree all the time on anything like that, but with that being said, if you're a grown man out there and you listening to this, if you need some other grown man to motivate you to get up off your ass, then you already a lost cause, because you should already have your own motivation. You should have a lighter underneath your ass that makes you get up and go.
Yep.
So let's be part of the solution, and let's not be part of the problem. And I'm talking to the people in the inner city that affects everything else. Let's stop being victims, and let's go out there and get it. And then that way motherfuckers will maybe put a little bit of respect on our name.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Get a drink, big dog. Get a drink. You wanna. Let me get this right here. Hold on. Let me get this guy right here. You on Hood Stocks? Talk to us, baby. You've been blowing this shit up. What's up?
What's going on, Lucky?
What up, my G?
Hey, calling from Kern County, man. How you doing?
Kern County, baby. She love and respect the Kern County.
Hell yeah, man. All day. Big fan, man. Been following you for a while now. I appreciate everything you're doing as far as the podcast goes.
Thank you, brother.
I just had a quick question. I understand you guys talking about immigration and all that, but where do you stand as a Second Amendment? I heard you earlier, you said you're a veteran.
Yes.
As far as Second Amendment goes, where do you see it? How do you see it going? What can you do really for us at the time?
Well, I'm pro Second Amendment. You have every right to stand your ground, and under my administration, it's going to be stand your ground state, which means that all the red flag laws, I think it was in 2019 and 2019 and part of 20, they came up with a half a dozen more laws to make it a lot harder and more difficult for people to actually one, get a gun. Two, even to get more ammunition, and number three, they increased red flag laws, which is pre-crime, right? We don't arrest people for pre-crime. So So under my administration, those are going to be rescinded on. And then at the same time too, while that's being worked on, I can expand on the castle law, meaning that you should be able to protect yourself, that somebody comes on your land, and if you feel that they've, crossed the line, you have every right to protect yourself, standing your ground, and kill them. That's what's going to put criminals back out there, knowing that everybody has a right to defend themselves, to stand their ground, and not go to jail. You should not be committed. You should not have to go to jail for protecting your home. In my home, I've engaged under the castle law, which means I put signs all around my home, around my gates, right? I'm the only person in the home. I put money up there because my wife is like, I don't want people even stepping 1 foot on my property without our say so. My gates are closed. The sign says trespassers will be shot and survivors will be shot again. Yes, it is across my house. You will not come on my property without my say so. And if you hop my fence, I'm not going to sit there and ask you, what are you doing on my land? Because that actually happened. And somebody was staring at the pole in the backyard. It looked like some crazed old guy. My wife didn't know what was going on. And I said, go get the gun. You have the high ground. They can't get upstairs. Get that gun and go and aim it at him and shoot him. And she says, you want me to shoot him? And I say, shoot him. I go, you're not going to sit there and ask questions and say, excuse me, sir, why are you in my home? Why are you on my property? Why did you hop my fence to my backyard? I'm not going to ask that because I have no idea who the hell you are. And you had the balls and the gumption to actually cross over. Shoot him. Ask questions after. And and then just before she was about to, the man turned around. It turned out he was wearing civilian clothes, but he had a badge hanging, and he was from SG&E. And then another guy came over, and he said, no, don't shoot. But here's the thing. They crossed over. They didn't ring the doorbell. They crossed over 2 gates. So this is what criminals know. And I've even spoken to, the laws where they're saying, law-abiding citizens, you need to actually, we need to get you to register. We need to make background checks. But here's the problem. When I've spoken to some people who've arrested for gun crimes, they've personally told me, I don't care. I'm going to go get the gun from another state. I'll find a friend. I'll pay him a lot of money to get me a gun and hand it over, and then they'll just report it lost. There's so many ways to build ghost guns and so on and so forth. No, we need to allow our civilians, everybody, to protect themselves. So I'm going to fight for stand your ground.
Hey, thank you for calling, brother. I appreciate you, dog.
I appreciate it.
Hey, Daniel.
Yeah.
My G. I love it, bro. I love it. I wanna paint a scenario to you.
Yeah.
About this guy, this dude, this fool, that once upon a time ago lived a criminal life, and he changed his life in his mid-30s, late 30s, because some guys, man, unfortunately to say, they mature a little later. Their brain develops a little later from that 18-year-old mentality, 16, 13-year-old mentality. It takes them a little longer,
Yeah.
And this guy that I'm talking about is me, bro.
I figured.
This guy that I'm talking about is me, bro. I'm a homeowner now, bro. I own a house. I go to UCLA. Instead of breaking down the community, I'm building the community now. LA. Who I was back then is not who I am now.
Yeah.
If you ever heard of someone changing their life, you're sitting across from them right now. Am I perfect? No. Do I have regrets? Yes. Sometimes, bro, I think about my past and I kick myself in the ass, bro. Like, if I can, I think about myself, bro, and I'm just like, stupid, fuck, dumbass. Brought kids into this world irresponsibly, under the influence of drugs, methamphetamine. Am I ashamed of who I used to be? Yeah, bro. Who I was then is not who I'm now, bro. Now, I own a home. I'm the breadwinner of the family. Not to take anything from my wife. She's beautiful. She holds She holds what she holds down, which is what I can't feel the shoes of, so to speak. Yeah. She's the woman, and we are the yin and the yang. But at the end of the day, at this point in my life, 44 years old, I got to protect my family. I have a house full of girls, bro. Mm-hmm. I have a house full of girls. Now, by law, the only way I can protect my family is with my hands.
Yeah, because the law says because you're a felon, you can't have a gun, right?
It's with my hands, brother.
Yeah.
I fucked myself. I know I did, bro. I fucked myself, dog. If someone comes into my house, I got to use my hands, bro. If they have a gun, I have to use my hands by law.
Yep. Yeah.
To protect my little girls, 5, 6-year-old, 13-year-old, 14-year-old. Her birthday was actually today. It's tough, bro. It's tough because now the person I used to be is the person I have to worry about. Mm-hmm. I have to worry about me possibly coming into my house for the wrong intent, possibly jumping that fence like you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the wrong intent. I mean, I'm in a fucked up position, so to speak, in regards to being an alpha male and having to protect my family.
Yeah.
But I take responsibility for my past because I clearly fucked up.
Well, here's the interesting thing. I agree. You should have your rights given back to you because this is what I said, and I said this in the previous interview. And I hear what you're saying, and I agree. One of the things is people said, well, when somebody serves their debt to society, should they be given their rights back? And I said, well, 2 things. 1, yes. 2, no. 1, yes, because you served your time. 2, no, not right away. Why? Because you have to prove to your community that you don't have a propensity for doing it again. Clearly, you've already proven that. So there's a duration of time. What do we call them? That we put on you. We put a watchdog on you, a probation officer. There's a certain time frame that you have to do. And once you're done, that's it. You go on about your way. But you didn't get your rights back. You should have been given your rights back. You have to have them right. My administration, yeah, you get them back because you've already proven yourself, right? You got out. Because I tell people, listen, if you didn't get caught, would you still be a criminal? The answer is yes and no. Some people have admitted to me, yeah, if I didn't get caught, I think I'd still be engaging in what I was engaging in. But you got caught. You wised up. You matured. You served your time, and you proved yourself to your community. Why wouldn't you get them back? There's a limit. But that limit has exceeded itself for somebody like you. You've proven yourself. You've educated yourself. You moved past, and now you're building a community. Why wouldn't you be giving them back? There's a limit. If you just got out, well, you got to wait a minute. You got time to still serve. That was just because you got caught.
You got to pay your dues.
You got to pay your dues. You don't get a reward for getting caught. You get a reward for the fact that you proved yourself and your community can trust you and you've wised up. Clearly, years have gone on now. You're my age. Why don't you have them back? That's abuse of authority. I don't support that. I never will.
Let's get a phone call right here. This is a very special phone call right here. Caesar. Hold on real quick. Caesar. Hello, Caesar.
Yes.
This is a very special phone call right here. This man right here. Caesar, tell Daniel a little bit about yourself, bro.
Hey, first of all, damn, you cut me off guard. My boy kept calling and calling.
I'm sorry, bro. I know. We were in the middle of a conversation, bro. So Caesar was sentenced to 25 years to life. And Caesar is now a free man.
Nice.
Caesar,
Yes.
speak to Daniel.
All right. So, Daniel, first and foremost, man, it's nice meeting you. I know you've had some rough conversation as of late with the last few callers, but
No, it's all good. It's all good.
I just got a couple of questions for you, bro.
Yeah.
Someone that's a big supporter of rehabilitation. If you were to come in as governor of California, the new governor of California, what would you change from CDCR? Because right now, as you know, I don't know if you do or not, but there's a lot of lifers, a lot of rehabilitated people coming home from prison that deserve to be home. Like, what are your views in that? Like, do you agree that all these lifers are coming home? Do you agree? I heard you say you do believe in rehabilitation.
Yeah.
I heard you say that earlier. You know, so do you agree that that lifers can be a success out here in the community? You know.
Caesar,
You know,
real
what are your
quick,
views on that?
let me interject real quick. Caesar was sentenced. Caesar, you were sentenced to 25 to life, correct?
No, I was sentenced to 33 years to life.
33 years to life.
Yeah.
You did how many years?
I did 25 years.
He did 25 years, bro. And now this man is out and he's a part of an organization. What's the organization, brother?
I'm part of the Anti-Recidivism Coalition.
And so now
nonprofit.
It's a nonprofit. And now he goes into prisons. He is pro.
Yeah.
He is giving keys now, bro, to go in these prisons and help lifers to get out of prison through rehabilitation.
Right.
Bro, like, this dude is the real deal, bro. This dude was sentenced to something, and I know we hear it a lot sometimes, to a crime that he didn't do.
Right.
And after 25 years, they said, you know what, you're right. You didn't do it.
Yeah.
You didn't do it.
Yeah, well, that's why I said earlier, I don't know if you were on earlier, but I did talk about the fact that the biggest things and the problems with our judicial system is our judges, because all crime is commercial. I don't agree with that, which means that this is why when they read you your Miranda rights, right? You have, what is that? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. They never say for you. It's always against you, right? So anything you say will always be used against you in a court of law. Why is it against you and not for you or in support of you or to help you or to guide you? And then the language that is used in the courts are designed to be, again, against you. So because there's no commercial, there's no profit in it, right? That's key. That starts with our judges and then on to our lawyers. Number two, you've already proven yourself. And yes, so can people be rehabilitated? Yes, of course they can. Absolutely 100%. And there's already programs. You've clearly engaged into that. So that's why I also said too, is that it's circumstantial, depending on the crime. The one crime that I'll never excuse is pedophilia. I don't care what you say. No. But I understand that everybody who's engaged in crime could either be mistaken, could have been falsely accused and charged, and that we have a process system so that people can engage into trying to get out because maybe it doesn't align with the fact that they're innocent. But the process
so
is
my
erroneous.
question, like I said, I hear all that. I agree with you. I think you're absolutely right. But my question is, what are you going to do? So right now, Governor Newsom is not, he's allowing people to come back home to the family, people that have been rehabilitated, people that have been doing great programming while they've been in prison. If you were to come into office, let's say in a few months from now, would you change anything, or would you follow suit with Governor Newsom? That's my question, because
I already know. Yeah, there are definitely programs that are already working that I wouldn't change, especially rehabilitation programs that I know that are for criminals. Depending on the crime, there are a number of programs that actually already work that are helping people in that. So there would be no reason for me to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, because a lot of times, I get it. The reason that I believe the reason that they're trying to recall Newsom is because of the way he handled the COVID situation, right?
Well, and that's the thing. You don't get to lock everybody down and you go live the life of luxury.
Yeah.
I hate saying that. I'm sorry that you don't.
I get it. That's why I called in, because my concern is I would want to know. My interest is the people that are still inside. There's still a lot of great people in there. I was once asked a question: if I had an opportunity to speak on their behalf, what would I say? And I can honestly tell you, there's a lot of great people that have really changed inside these prison walls that deserve a second opportunity at life. I know a lot of them committed some heinous crimes, but at the same time, these people have rehabilitated themselves. There's a lot of people that.
No, you're talking, and you're talking also to everybody. Everybody has a circumstance, and that's why. And it's even written on my site is that there are a multitude of those, but we don't have enough programs to go through those multitudes because of the fact that our reform or our judicial, our branch is just so overwhelmed purposely, right? Because there has to be a profit. I know people say, "Oh, that can't be it." It is it. That is the primary, right? Because we fall under business law. We do not fall under natural law anymore. They changed the Constitution from 1776 to the 1787, which again, a lot of people, this is the stuff that I've been learning. How do I repatriate everybody so that you fall under natural law so that it's no longer commercial? There's no longer a profit in it, right? That's another way to starve the government. What you're doing is trying to remove people by fighting through this business law, which is why it's so long and it takes such a long time when you've seen that some people were mistakenly identified or people were in jailed wrongfully, or people who maybe had something that was a misdemeanor that turned into a felony that had nothing to do with what they did, but they were at the wrong place at the wrong time. I can't tell you how many people I've already talked to in this arena. So yes, I'm right there with you when it comes to that. There's already your programs and several other programs that are associated to what the state has already outlined. I'm not going to throw away. If anything, they're going to be expanded on. However, again, I have to start by putting our judges on notice, because if they're not, they're going to keep engaging in this activity, and people like you are going to be overwhelmed, and we're going to just keep filling up systems, or we're going to wrongfully let out the wrong person, and that person is going to go after a good family. So there's a balance here.
Let me ask you another question. How do you feel about all these new bills that have been passed by Sacramento that are for a lot of people were charged as juveniles, and they went straight to prison. I mean, when I was in prison back in the 90s, I got arrested in 1991, but around 1996, there was kids that were 15 years old in prison, level 4 facilities, and.
Oh, you mean charging a child for adult crime?
Yes. How do you feel about that?
I mean, for me, that borders, that's a really sensitive border. Personally, no. I mean, you're a child, right? I always say at the end of the day, if my child turns out to be a little asshole, that's my fault, right? I failed him as a father. I failed him as a parent. It's not my child's fault. Right? We've already drawn the line as to where that line is as an adult. 18. You're an adult, you're 18, you committed a crime, then you get charged as an adult. You're a minor, you're a child, you committed a crime, that's the parent's fault, right? But the child still did the crime, so they have to do the time. However, no, I get it, but we're charging them as an adult. And like you said, when you're 19, you're not the same as when you're 45. When you're a 13-year-old, you're not the same when you become 32 years old. Again, so this is something that I've never quite agreed with. It's never sat well with me.
Yeah, because basically that law has already passed.
No, I know. I know. Anything that's law too, and here's to understand too. Anything that's law, the governor cannot just by an executive order waive and prevent it. You have to override it through a proposition. Yes, a governor can institute proposition to the state, and as many as he wants or she wants. To override those injustices.
Are you familiar with the Hope and Redemption Team?
No.
Have you ever heard of the Hope and Redemption Team?
No, I can't say that I have.
Have you heard of ARC?
AR what?
ARC, the Anti-Recidivism Coalition.
No.
Okay, so this is an organization that put a team together of former lifers that allows us to go back inside and facilitate character development groups for the men inside, and it's not just for the lifers. It's for everyone.
I think I have, but go ahead, keep going.
Yeah, it's for everyone. we as a credible messenger get a chance to go back in and show them that what change looks like, right? We show them that this is what rehabilitation really does work if you internalize it, and you can be a productive member of society if you choose to. You don't have to live that life. And another thing too was now what we tell them is when they come home, they have something to come home to, which is our organization,
Right.
where we can put them in a union trade in the construction field.
Right.
So they don't have to no longer go back into the street or go to their neighborhood. They can go back and actually, get a career in construction and make really good money.
Again, I don't have any. I've never had any problems with any of that. Yes, rehab works.
Okay. Well, I mean, like I said, those were my questions. Like I said, my concern was if you were to come in, don't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, it don't matter to me. As long as that, you follow suit what Newsom is doing, which is being, and it's not being lenient, it's just really going by the book. If a man or a woman has served their time and has been rehabilitated, they should have an opportunity for a second chance. That was it.
Yeah, and I tell everybody, listen, we're all sinners. We all make mistakes. And then, like I said earlier too, yes, things are circumstantial, and we definitely have a huge problem here. And I'm not aiming to increase that. There's always groups out there, people like you, that are trying to make things better. That are also some of the groups get stonewalled too, or not expanded on. So they kind of just let you scratch the surface, but they don't actually let you get in there a little bit deeper. And then, of course, there are some crimes that I'll never move on. And like I said earlier, that's pedophilia. I am never going to agree to that. There's no group that's ever going to come to me personally and ever tell me, well, we can normalize that. We can fix that. No, you can minister to them. You can psychologically give them therapy or whatever, but I'm not going to sit there and engage in the fact that they're going to ever go back out on the streets again. In my personal opinion, that's life.
Yeah, and everybody has that opinion. That's fine.
So
another question too, and this is, I'm guessing you've been in politics for a while, right?
No, let everybody know I'm not a politician, and I haven't been in politics. I'm a veteran, and I work in I work in marketing. I do productions. I have my own independent production company. I also own my own LLC for a private investment group, and I really don't care for politics. I loathe politics. It's a mudslinging environment. I'm just somebody who gives a crap about his state, somebody who loves his country, and I'm tired of all the corruption. And that is both sides of the fence. So when people go, oh, you're registered Republican, listen, both sides are at fault, in my personal opinion. But when you run, you have to register as one or the other or something else. So,
I hear you.
Hey, Caesar, I appreciate the phone call, brother. Thank you so much, dog.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely.
All right, brother.
And great conversation, by the way.
Absolutely, dog. Yeah. Let me get this last phone call. Last phone call.
all right.
Last phone call. You're on Hood Stocks. Last phone call. What do you got to say?
Yes, hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I have two questions. Okay, my first question is, for the baleteros out there, the charges that they're giving, how does he feel about the new charges that they're trying to put charges on the street vendors out in California? That's my first question. And my second question is, I know how he said he cares about California and our people, but how can he fix the nutrition in the hospitals? Because there has been multiple people that have been forced to eat food that is not the right nutrition, especially for our elders and the people that are also suffering other serious conditions. So I want to know how he feels about our elderly, how we can change our nutrition in our hospital system, and our street vendors.
Let me go to the first, which is the elders or the nutrition in the hospital. My father actually died in the hospital from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. And one of the things that my brother was doing was the hospitals wanted to, it's kind of hard to talk about, but my brother started giving my father basically health drinks, right? To kind of help him get him back on his feet. Well, before that happened, the hospital called all of us, his children. There's 4 of us, and they told us that he wasn't going to make it. He hasn't woken up, and that we needed to basically pull him off of life support. And I wouldn't do it. The rest of my brothers and sisters were saying, quality of life, we really need to think about him. And I couldn't do it. And I was arguing with them. And so that night when we were going back and forth, we went back to the hotel. We came back. The next morning, my father woke up. And I said, let my father decide on his own what he wants us to do. And of course, they were trying to feed him. And the food was junk. And my father realized that we were there. He didn't want to see us, see him, the way he was when he was going through chemo and radiation. And but he signed his own DNR. And he said, I don't want my kids deciding this. I'm going to decide it. If I fall back under, don't resuscitate me. Well, he stayed awake for a number of weeks. And my brother was the last one to kind of stay with him. And he was kind of giving him this health drink. And it started giving him energy. And he started walking around. And he started talking more. And he started phone calling all of us again. And he was doing way better. And the color of his skin was coming back because my brother was very into, like right now he's a bodybuilder. So he's very into nutrition. So everything that you said, the hospital got on our case for doing that and said that we needed to give him the standardized food that was being administered to him. And it started making it worse for him. And it started almost seeming like it was speeding up the process again. My brother would take him off. He would start to do better. Put him back on. He was doing worse. And then eventually he passed away. So
you didn't want to do the feeding tube. You were like, I'm not going to go that route because
Correct.
it can get infected. So this is the case. The nutrition, I know about the nutrition, the liquids. Okay, now it gets to the daily bread because tortillas, corn, stuff like that. They try to tell you, okay, look, if we give them bread, a sandwich, they're going to choke. There's going to be a lawsuit. But you have to sign a waiver. That way, if they give him bread, he won't choke. They're not responsible. But look, check this out. As a Catholic, speaking for Catholics, and I don't need to get religious or anything, but Catholics, they believe in their daily bread, and that gives us life because of Jesus. That's his, and the shakes, how you said, that is his blood. So with that, it gives us life. So look, this is where it gets more critical. Right now, the nurses are working 12-hour shifts, right? Okay, so it's not the same nurse all the time. They don't pass the message. There'll be times when I'll call for elders, hey, can I see if he's hungry? Oh, they're like, oh yeah, I gave him a sandwich already. And then they'll be like, oh, and I talked to the elder, hey, did they give you a sandwich? No, he didn't give me a sandwich. Talk back to the RN, to the nurse, oh, he doesn't want to eat it. So then there's 2 stories, and they don't want to pass.
Well, that's a level. Yeah, you're talking about laws that don't allow for families to basically have the ultimate and final say over their elders, over their family members that are hospitalized, and there used to be, but a lot of the laws have changed. So when it comes to nutrition, it comes to health or personal health. They've removed that ability, especially now. Again, they're taking rights away from the parents to have a final say over their own children. So yes, the laws need to be changed. A governor can institute, resources, state agencies, other health departments. We have a health department. Well, the governor can appoint the health director. So there's no reason why, as a governor, I would put in somebody who's actually going to be telling the truth and giving the real control back over to the people and their family members, right? Your hospital, your representatives, the people that are in the medical community are there to guide the final or best decision that family members can make for their loved ones when they're in a time of care or in a time of need. And that has been removed and been given over to the state more so now than ever. So no, I'm in support of giving it back. And there is an easy way to do that without the legislative branch that can get around through the health director that a governor can appoint. And then your second question was, what was it over?
The street vendors.
Street vendors. And what was your question about the street vendors?
They're trying to put charges on our street vendors for, selling, especially like you said, our veterans. Mm-hmm. That are also out homeless, that are giving their life for the country, that are also have Mexican American blood, some that were born very early in Mexico, They don't know the country. They fought for the country.
Yeah, I can't
You know,
answer
situations like that. You
yeah,
know?
I can't answer intelligently on that. As far as the street vendors, I do know that street vendors have been given more leeway as far as being able to operate. But as far as being fined, I know that some of the fines occur differently per city. So I know that the Los Angeles charges more and fines more. So as a sole proprietor, when I used to work in Los Angeles as an independent filmmaker, I had to get extra licensing and insurances and fees that I had to pay to the city that had nothing to do with the state. So it's kind of a city by city basis. So I don't know exactly what the charges would be or what they're charging for, but that is something that I'll definitely, try to
You
look
wouldn't
into.
impose charges, correct?
Yeah. Hey, I appreciate your phone call, bro. This is the last phone call. Thank you for calling
All right,
in.
thank you. Thank
So,
you, man. I appreciate your call.
Thank you,
I
bro.
appreciate you for connecting me.
Hey, so I want to end it on this right here, bro.
Yeah.
Who are you here with?
Who am I here with?
Yeah.
My campaign manager.
What shirt does your campaign manager have on?
He's got a Proud Boy shirt on.
Why does he got a Proud Boy shirt on?
He's a Proud Boy.
He's a Proud Boy?
He is.
Okay. And what is a Proud Boy?
Well, from what I know and from what I've learned and from what I have when I've engaged with some of them is people who love their sovereignty and their freedoms and don't want to see any of the protests go haywire and crazy, and they don't want to see attacks. Most of them that I've seen that I've been out there when I've gone to protests, I've actually seen them remove people who've been attacked by people who are in Antifa. They've actually circled them up and kind of used their own bodies as shields. I've personally seen that. As far as I'm going to tell you right now, are they all on the same page? No, they're not.
And what page is this guy on?
He's on the page of freedom and sovereignty. In
And
fact,
what is freedom and sovereignty in your perspective?
people who love the Constitution, people who love God, people who love family, people who love their communities, first and foremost, 100%. I love my country, I love my freedom, and I love my sovereignty.
So
that's first.
Okay,
So,
I get that, bro. So if you're trying to win the governor position in the state of California, I mean that's kind of a risky. That's a little risky, bro, to be rolling around with a Proud Boy as a campaign manager because. And he's sitting right in front of me on the side of me right here. You know what I mean? That you know, it's kind of like it's a bad look.
It's not a bad look because I knew him before he was a Proud Boy. I didn't know until maybe partially through, but at the same time too, he's a Marine first. He served as I served. And then on top of that too, we're both grapplers and we just, found camaraderie because when you grapple somebody, you get to know them pretty well. And then one day he came into a mutual friend and was like, I just feel like I need to run because I'm tired of all the lockdowns. I'm tired of all the nonsense. I don't know what to do. I feel like I can't survive. I can't take care of my family. And our mutual friend said, you should call Daniel. He's running for governor. And I was needing somebody that was brash around the edges like me, didn't care to make phone calls and just let people know about my message. And he called up and he said,
But
he's just not gonna help you.
But shouldn't you have for a campaign manager? Shouldn't you have someone that's neutral opposed to just leaning on a certain side?
I'll tell you. Let me just be honest with you right now. He not once has ever told me, you should go this route. In fact, one of the biggest things was when he told me, I said, well, I don't care. I don't really care. And then
because you know him before that.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so I know the person. And then when he said, well, there's people that I know that also, are either part of him and support of them or they know them. Would you be willing to talk to some of them? And I said, I don't really care. I'll talk to Antifa. I'll talk to BLM. I'll talk to, which I have. I'll talk to Proud Boys. I'll talk to street gangs, which I have. People say, go out there, you should go talk to the homeless and the drug addicts, which I have. I don't really care who you are. I don't really care what you believe as far as your faith is concerned, whether you believe in Buddha, Muhammad, or anything. I don't really care what the media says. I've got people even in my own family that have been in jail, have served time, and they're on my staff. They're helping me. My sister has been in jail multiple times. She has served multiple years back to back, and she's my treasurer. And she has handled my books, and she has handled all of my meetings, and she has handled a lot of my encounters with people who are trying to reach out, that want me to come speak, that want to talk to me or go on Zoom or live or something like this. And same with my campaign manager. I don't really give a crap about anything else. So people can look at me and go, oh, well, you're in support. I'm not. Otherwise, I wouldn't even sat down with the people yesterday when I sat down and talked to BLM, Antifa, and Proud Boys. I will go where you want. I don't really care if you're in support of certain people. If you want to hear from me and you want to talk to me, talk to me. If you want to have have it out and have a disagreements, I'm for that. I don't really care. If that's what he supports, that's what he supports. I personally have my own personal experience. And now I can say honestly too, BLM, I know now and I understand where their cries are coming from. Same with Antifa and some of the people. And then are they disagreements? You bet. But here's what I'm now realizing. We're all on the same page. We're all Americans. And if no one's willing to go into that den or that lion's den, then it's just we're never going to solve our issues. So take that for what it's worth. I don't really care.
I want to give you a chance, bro. You want to talk? Not right now. Okay.
I'll come on the show.
You'll come on the show, and I'd love to have you on the show, bro. Yeah, and I'd love to have you on the show, bro. But I didn't know that was a Proud Boy shirt. I didn't know you were a Proud Boy, bro. You know what I mean? Is the information that I've gotten, which has been one-sided, bro. It's been one-sided.
I'm a Jew.
You're a Jew?
Yeah, that's the other thing too. People.
I was raised by Latinos.
See that right there, baby? So you're not racist, nothing like that.
I fuck Nazis up, dude.
You fuck Nazis up.
I fuck Nazis.
That's right, baby. I like that.
100% all day long.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's why I tell people. People are like,
Yeah.
you know what? I say, listen,
You know,
you got
my-
Jews, Mohammed, you got people who are Muslim, and
Yeah.
all of these groups. Let me just tell everybody, listen. When I talk to BLM, there are people who believe in Jesus, people who believe in philosophy, Hare Krishnas, and then of course believe in the philosophy of Marxism, but they think they want to combine it with the Constitution, and the two don't work. I don't listen. We're all going to sit down one way or another. Otherwise, we're going to keep eating at each other's throats, and we're going to keep having this. And people want to think that's why I'm glad he asked me that. Are you? No, I don't care. If you want to serve on my staff, you want to be on my team, then look at what I stand for. When I was running for Congress, I got a bunch of letters in the mail, and in the mail it comes from super PACs, and the PACs come up with some of these documents. It's different for everybody, and the way they word it. And it says, if we endorse you, you have to take our money. And I thought to myself, why do I have to take your money? So I called them up and I said, well, I understand what you're writing here, but why do I have to take your money? If you endorse me, it's because you believe in my campaign, you believe in my policies, you know that I'm standing on at least trying to be, I'm a conservative, I believe in God and freedom, and I want to maintain what we have. And they said, well, it's just a way for us to hold each other accountable. And I said, no, because if I sign the contract down below, it said that it could be held up in a court of law, which is why your representatives, when they take money from a payout for their campaign, are now have to do a 180 the second they get seated. Why? Because they're under contract. So if they create a law or they try to pass legislation, they can't. Why? Because they're under that contract, because they took the money. I wouldn't take the money. And because I wouldn't take the money, it pissed them off. So then they said, we'll double down. How about we help you and we'll get you into the 26th district of California, guaranteed. How can you guarantee? You don't know. Why would you guarantee me this? And they said, listen, don't worry about that. We have 2,000 members. We can give you 50,000 as a PAC. That's the max for the state under the FEC. We have 2,000 members. We'll tell them to send out the max, $2,500. That's 250,000 plus 50, that's 300,000. And they were going to teach me how to keep it by running it through a nonprofit. I wouldn't take it. So when I talk to people like this, I don't care. If you love our country, be on my team. If you don't like what I stand for, don't vote for me.
You know, bro, we got to have you on, bro. Because what I just said right now is I've always heard a one-sided, right?
We'll do it.
We need to have you on, bro. And this isn't me shitting on you, bro. Right? This is absolutely not. All respect right here, my G.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
For sure.
Absolutely, dog. But we need to have you on to give the Proud Boy side of the conversation. Because everything is a conversation, right? Yeah. We need to have these conversations, because when you have conversations,
you learn.
You learn. We have understandings.
Yep.
And Daniel Mercuri, my G, brother. Thank you so much, brother.
Oh, thank you.
This has been good, bro.
Can you tell us when the election is?
September 14th. Yeah, and I think they're going to send out, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 30 days before they're going to send out all the ballot information and whatnot. Yeah.
And so when the ballot information comes out, you explained to me on the phone call, excuse me. You said that you're either gonna go for Nat Gavin Newsom or not, and if it's a not, then you have 40 plus individuals that you can choose from.
Yep.
Daniel Mercuri is one of them. Now, if you like what Daniel Mercuri has said today, then you're gonna vote for him.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't, you're not gonna vote for him.
Nope.
It's black and white, baby.
Yeah, listen, I don't pander to your vote, and that's why I tell people you're not going to get a political answer from me. You don't like who I hang out with, that's fine. You don't like who I know, you don't like who I talk to, that's fine. That's up to you. Look at my policies, look at me as a person, and know that I stand that no matter what, even when I served, I didn't care about who you served. I didn't care about what you believed in, and I didn't care about whether or not you were Democrat, Republican, Independent, whether you were a gang member, or whether you were somebody that was, who loves Marxism. I fought for, and I will continue to fight for, your sovereignty, your freedom, and your ability to speak up without repercussion. I don't have to like what you say, but I have every right to let you say it and walk away and know what I know and believe what I believe. That's what it's coming down to.
Look at the chat line. The chat line said, I'm gonna vote for this guy. He's got my vote. The chat line, Hoodstocks, the community is speaking right now. And they're saying, they're gonna vote for you, bro.
Thank you. Well, thank you for taking a chance and bringing me on and letting me talk to your audience.
Life is a chance, baby. You know what I mean? And life is a conversation. And one thing we have right here is we have a conversation that we are looking at from all angles, bro. I mean, right here, bro. Everybody judges, man. Everybody's got something to say about this and that. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, hear the words that are coming out this man's mouth, and you make a decision on what you want for the future of California. What you want, because it doesn't end in California.
No.
California's just a stepping stone, baby. And who knows? He can be the president of the United States one day.
Let me just and say this too. I want people to understand. Listen, you can consider me be an asshole. That's okay. You can.
I respect assholes because they're gonna tell us the way it is, bro.
Thank you.
And that's me.
But I, at the end of the day, hate politics. I love my country. I love my state. I love differences of opinion. I love the fact that even if you don't want to vote for me and you chose your candidate, I will always respect you. All I want is my freedom. I just want my sovereignty. I want to clean house in this state, in this country. I don't care for anything else. I'm not a policymaker. I just want what I want back, which is for all of us to be a community, to love our neighbor. And it's going to take a hell of a lot more than just an Ivy League education. It's going to take somebody with the willingness to can stand up in the face of adversity and risk their life. Because the stuff that I'm talking about is dangerous conversation. Because it gets in the way of those who are in control right now. I don't care if you're Democrat or what you voted on last year, the year before. I don't care that we have a disagreement of statutes. I care that you can wake up tomorrow morning and say, I'm a free man, and today I'm gonna try something new and see if I can spread the good love throughout the rest of our state and our country. That is what I give a crap about. And at the end of the day, we can keep talking and come to a conclusion. But I'm not gonna sit here and impose upon you, negativity or to try to enslave you. I'd rather learn from you and find common ground. We don't have that. And we have legislators in office that don't care for that. That's why it's falling on deaf ears, and that's why I'm here today.
Daniel Mercuri, baby. Daniel Mercuri, baby. Hey, let everybody know how they can reach you, how they can follow you, how they can support you, brother.
You can go to my website at danielforcalgovernor.com. Because I do have my social media sites. I have been shadow banned. You can still click on my links and you will find me and you can share those. That's one of the biggest things that you can do for me. I don't want your money. I know it takes money. I'd rather you give me something in kind as far as asking me to come out or opening up your doorways or pointing me into somebody that says we want you to come and speak, or we got a podcast and we'd love for you to sit down to reach another audience that way. Keep your money. Yeah, I'll find a way. But if you want to donate, because that's the only thing you can do, there's a donate button, whatever you want, doesn't matter. I'd rather you just say, come talk to me. Come talk to my family. I don't want your hard-earned money. Any candidate that says otherwise, they're not in it for you. They're in it for the money. They're in it for the prestige. I don't want that. I want you to have it back. So if you want to help me, the best thing that you can do is go to my website, danielforcalgovernor.com. Click on one of the social media links. I'm on all of them as much as I can think of. I think it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Gab, Parler, YouTube, Rumble, and one other one. Click on one of them that's your favorite, and because that's the one that you prefer, and I'll probably be on there. And you can also send me an email if you want to talk to me personally and you've got ideas. I'm all for anybody who wants to help me, to support me with ideas. Even if it's a policy and you like what I've written down, you want to help me out that way, you want to help me iron it out, I would love that.
Daniel, welcome to the Hoodstocks family, baby.
Hey, brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you so much, dog. Everybody give it up for Daniel Mercuri, baby. We are out of here. Thank you so much. It's been amazing.